An old Southwest Conference rivalry renewed, this time in the Southeastern Conference. It's the Texas Longhorns and the Arkansas Razorbacks meeting here in Austin for the first time since 2008 in what is a must-win for the Texas Longhorns. What's going on, everybody? Happy game day and welcome in to the Texas Sports Unfiltered Longhorn Football pregame show, broadcasting live from the historic Scholz Garten, just a stone's throw away from DKR-Texas Memorial Stadium, the site of this afternoon's matchup between the Horns and the Hogs. Alongside Bucky Godbold, I am BK Brad Kellner. Our TSU pregame show brought to you by our friends at AV Consultations and Covert Bee Cave. Buck, hasn't quite been the year that either of these teams wanted, but bragging rights are on the line for both sides. And for Texas, any chance of sneaking back into the college football playoff discussion starts with a strong performance today. How are you?
So you're saying there's still a chance?
I'm telling you there's a chance, Lloyd.
Yeah, well, if there's a chance, then Texas needs to play maybe one of the better games that they played the entire season, very similar to the game that they played at OU, in order to have a chance, because this is about style points right now. It's about wins and style points, and especially in this football game for the Texas Longhorns.
Agreed. 100%. Not only do you have to get a win today, but you got to ace the eye test this afternoon against an Arkansas team that is coming to Texas on an 8-game losing streak. We'll talk about how close some of those losses have been, but you know what your record says you are. This is a 7-3 Texas team that, again, is fighting for its playoff lives at home, taking on a 2-8 team. It's a game the Longhorns should be able to handle their business.
Yeah, there won't be any excuses to the committee or anybody else or Texas Longhorn fans if you lose this football game today. This is a team that they're playing that's struggling. They don't have a head coach right now. They have an interim head coach. And most of their fan base right now is looking to find out what's going to happen in 2026.
Yeah.
You know, what's going to happen, who's going to be the new head coach at Arkansas. And for Texas, as you said, hope is still alive. So, and you've got to play well today. And they've got to do a lot of things that they haven't done over the last couple of weeks. Right. Now they've won, but there's some things that they need to fix.
Yeah, well, they didn't win last week.
Well, no, they did not.
They had the 4-game winning streak going into Georgia, but you're right. They were surviving in some of those wins. You could tell they were leaking oil a little bit in last week. The boat drowned as Texas got blown out in the second half against Georgia, 35-10, the final score. So obviously the Longhorns looking to bounce back after their most disappointing performance of the season. And again, the College Football Playoff Committee ranked Texas at number 17 this week. A lot of Texas fans have already checked out on this season and they're more focused for 2026. But again, there's still a chance. The analytics, the mathematics tell you that the Longhorns still have a shot. But obviously, it could end today if things don't go well today.
Yeah, and they have to go really well. That's the part about this. Like I said, it's not about winning a game. For coaches, it's all about we just need to win the game. For Texas, it's more than just win the game.
Yeah,
it's looking good winning the game. It's making sure that people on the committee say, you know what, this team has played some good teams. They play in the SEC, and they've got just as good a shot as anybody in the country if they get into the playoffs.
Right. And Texas currently a 9.5-point favorite. The line opened up at 10.5 last weekend. It went down to 8.5. It was there for the majority of the week, but crept back up to 9.5. overnight. The total is 57.5. I know you and your cousin care about this kind of thing, but Texas is 7-3 on the year overall. They're 2-8 against the spread. It would really help them if they could increase that to 3-8 against the spread.
Yeah, and whether the spread is 9.5, 20.5, they need to look good in whatever they do.
I just wonder how this team comes out. You know, after all the noise and distraction over the last few days with the loss to Georgia, with the playoff rankings, with the head coach and the rumors about his future, how you feeling about the energy level for Texas? Do you think they're going to be as locked in as they need to be today?
Yeah, I feel, you know, with Sark telling everybody he's here to stay, he doesn't want to go anyplace else, which is taking him quite a while to actually say it. But to come out and actually say it, it puts his team at ease a little bit, the players at ease that the coach is going to be here for a while, and now they can just go play. And, you know, the last time they were at home, boy, they put on a pretty good show. To start, we had talked about the Texas football team needing to give the fans something to root about, not the fans needing to cheer on the team, but the team needing to show the fans what they were all about.
Yeah.
I think this is a very similar situation here today, this afternoon, BK. I think that the team needs to get the fans going, not the fans getting the team going.
You're right. And last time the Longhorns were here, November 1st, in that 34-31 victory over Vanderbilt, Texas jumped out to a 17-0 lead in the first quarter They controlled that game for most of the way. Obviously, things started to fall apart down the stretch, and the Horns needed to recover an onside kick to preserve the victory. But they obviously brought the juice. They did exactly what you were talking about, and this team's undefeated at home. It's not like they've looked perfect at home
Right.
in every game this season, but all three of their losses have been away from DKR. So getting these last two games at home, the must-wins of all must-wins, it's nice that you'll be able to play in front of 100,000 people rooting for you.
Yeah, that 34-31 game here against Vanderbilt won't be enough to do anything with the committee. They'll look at that and say, you did let Arkansas score 31 points against you.
Yeah.
In Vanderbilt, this was an opportunity, when they played Vandy, they came back late in the game. Things didn't work out for the Longhorns, but they still got the win. That was important. That was a top 10 team that they beat.
Sure.
Now, if it happens and it's that close, committee's not going to be very happy about it.
No, this is not a top 10 team.
No.
This is a team that has 2 wins in 10 games this year.
No, they have a lot of things going the other way for them also. So for Texas, it's about jumping off to a fast start, getting going immediately in this game, whether you're on offense or defense, and making the fans have something to shout about, because they'll have plenty to shout about next week.
Right.
You don't have to worry about the fan base of Texas playing Texas A&M next week. Win, loser, draw, they'll be here next Friday. They're showing up for that game.
Thankfully, they can't draw anymore.
No.
Those days are
Yes.
behind us. You were a part of some ties when you
Yes, I
coached.
was. I think it was a part of 2 of those.
A disaster.
Yeah, what a disaster that was, is right.
When the soccer is going on here. Put your soccer out of my football, please.
Yeah. This is the most important game for the Texas Longhorns of the year right now.
So that's a good segue, because a lot of people have used the term trap game to describe this one. I'll be honest, before the year, when I saw the schedule come out,
Sure.
and I saw Arkansas smack dab in the middle of the game at Georgia in the A&M game, I'm like, yeah, that could be a bit of a trap. I know Texas-Arkansas is a rivalry, but those 2 games feel bigger than this one.
For sure.
Maybe with the loss last week and the fact that, again, Texas is a 3-loss team on the outside looking in, fighting for their playoff lives, maybe the motivation is there, or are you worried that there could be a little overlooking going on with what's coming up 6 days from
Well,
now?
I mean, you can't do the entire team that way, but there'll be those on the team that will be looking forward to playing against Texas A&M. They haven't been in Austin in quite a while. So certain guys will look that way, but if the entirety of your team looking that way, that's a problem. But I can't see that. Your team's not good enough to overlook anybody.
No.
Right now. This team doesn't play well enough in all phases of the game, and for 4 quarters enough to overlook anyone that they play, especially a team that's in the SEC, no matter what their record is.
Yeah, I don't know if they've overlooked anyone this year. They're just not very good.
No,
I don't know if they overlooked Kentucky when that game was 16-13 in overtime. I don't know if they overlooked Mississippi State when the Horns were down 17.
and they may have overlooked Florida a little bit.
Maybe overlooked Florida with Oklahoma coming up. So that's not what we want today.
No.
Big rivalry coming up in a week, and playing an inferior opponent. Arkansas and Florida might end this season with the same records when it's all said and done.
Wow.
So, yeah, good news is Texas is not coming off of a bye, as weird as that sounds.
Yes.
They're horrible in both of their post-bye games this year. But, yeah, I wonder what the motivation level is like. You kind of wonder what it's like for both teams. I mean, Arkansas's 2-8. They've lost 8 games in a row. Are they totally checked out of this? Or are it's Texas? Like, they hate Texas more than they love themselves.
Yeah, I think it's more so the players on the team they're auditioning for whoever the next head coach is.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to, if you don't want to get sent packing by the new guy, or them making it difficult for you to be around, you need to show them something. Whoever is going to be the next coach of Arkansas, the players that will remain want to show them that they're valuable players. They're good enough to be at Arkansas, and they want to be a part of the program. Now, if you don't give a rat's ass, you can just come out here and lollygag around and already be going somewhere else. You could have already have your bags packed to head somewhere else, and whether it's Arkansas or some other Power 5 team, or just anywhere to play football, with the exception of Arkansas. So it's a two-way kind of go. But this group is not. They haven't packed it in, especially the young players that have another couple years to play.
No, they're playing everybody close, and Bobby Petrino is 0-5 himself since taking over for Sam Pittman, who got fired after the Hogs got blown out by Notre Dame earlier in the season. But, they've been fighting hard. And I don't think Bobby Petrino is going to be able to keep that job after this season. But obviously, any chance that he has could start with a strong performance by them. So I don't think Arkansas is a pushover. I guess that's the point that I'm making. Like, I think you have to be buttoned up. Like you said, Buck, you can't overlook this team. This Longhorn team hasn't been consistent enough. They're not talented enough to just give somebody a C game and expect to win. I think these guys better be ready to roll at 2:30.
Yeah, as I said, I think this team needs to start fast and give the fans something to cheer about, so that they will be back next week. I'm saying they're coming back no matter what.
Back no matter what.
Yeah, but you want them fired up for our Texas A&M football team that's probably going to be undefeated rolling into Austin, Texas next week.
Will they be chanting "Fire Sark" at that game next week?
I don't think they'll do that.
Okay.
I think we're past that with the head coach saying that he's coming back. He has no intentions of going anywhere else. We're taking him at his word that he'll give everything he can over the next 2 weeks to prepare his team, not only for next week, but this week, the one that's at hand. I think this team will be excited about playing in this football game. I mean, is there any better day than what we have today? This is absolutely gorgeous outside.
I got to give you some credit because early in the week, you told us, don't worry about the rain.
Don't worry about the rain today. It's a beauty.
My rain on Thursday, my rain on Friday, my rain on Sunday. Saturday is going to be good. And I pushed back a little bit because some of the weather guessers were saying we were going to get some rain.
I'm a forecaster and I'm a professional.
You're not a weather guesser.
I'm not a guesser.
You're
when it comes to rain.
You're a meteorologist.
When it comes to rain.
I got to make sure I get those two right.
Yes.
Two very different things. I mean, you could not ask for a more perfect Saturday. This will be the best Saturday out of the 52 that we get in Austin.
Yeah, this is something.
Yeah, you can't, this is football weather. I mean, people say when it's 30 degrees outside, this is what the people want to play in. This is what the fans want to sit in. Weather will not be a factor. It'll be a gorgeous day. Obviously, hopefully the Longhorns can
this is tailgate,
make this enjoyable.
And cocktail drinking, beer drinking.
Oh, man.
Barbecue cooking. This is a beautiful
Well, we do that regardless of the weather.
It's true.
But you're right. No, it doesn't get any better than this. A great crowd already at Scholz Garten. This place will continue to fill up. If you're looking for a place to watch the game, if you don't have a ticket, come by Scholz. They'll have the game on with sound. This is the place to go if you're looking for a last-minute spot to watch Texas and Arkansas. All right, let's dive into this matchup itself, Buck. Again, the 2025 Arkansas Razorbacks 2-8 on the season. They're 0-6 in conference play. They started the year 2-0. Wins over Alabama A&M and Arkansas State, but they've lost 8 in a row since. That sounds bad, but 7 of those 8 losses have been by single digits. 6 of those 8 losses have been by a single possession. Their biggest margin of defeat in their 6 SEC games is 9 points. So they've been close just about every week. They haven't been able to get over the hump. This obviously can't be the week that they do.
Yeah, they've had some spiritual wins for them.
Moral victories.
Yeah, moral victories, spiritual wins, whatever it is for them. And that's okay, but that doesn't give you a W in that column, and that's been a struggle for them trying to find a way over the hump, and especially with the defense that they have right now. This defense isn't very good. Their offense is capable, if you're not ready on defense, to beat you, and they've got some explosive players offensively, but defensively, it's a sieve. I mean, this should be a field day for Arch Manning. This should be an Arch Manning type of day. I'm not saying anything about the run game because that would be a waste of time when talking about the Texas Longhorns. If it's there, that's great. If it's not there, it won't surprise anybody who's watching the game or listening to the game.
No.
That won't surprise you that Texas may not be able to run the football. That's just the way it's been. So, but for the throwing game, for the quarterback who seems week by week is getting a little bit better. He's healed up from the concussion. He's healed up from some of the mental mistakes that he made early in the season.
Yeah.
I expect him to have a fun game today, and I expect the receivers and this offensive line to protect him today too.
That's the hope, right? The Arkansas defense is really, really bad. Like, you look at some of their offensive numbers, and it's like, how do they only have 2 wins? And then you look at their defensive numbers, and you're like, how do they even get to 2 wins?
That's right.
Dead last in the conference in scoring defense, dead last in the conference in total defense. They're 15th in passing and rushing defense. So it's not, they're pretty good at one thing, but they're so bad at the other that it drags their overall numbers down. Now, they don't really do anything well on defense. So get right opportunity for the Texas offense after a pretty sluggish performance.
Yeah, in the SEC at that level, you can pick on teams, you can pick 5, 6, 7 guys. I don't think they have that on defense. I really don't. When you look around, there's no outstanding play. They're there and they play, but there's nobody that really stands out. You can take advantage of the secondary. The defensive line is just so. And if there's a team that you can run against, and we look at the numbers, this should be the group.
Yeah.
But once again, I'm not talking about it at Texas. I'll talk about it in 2026 maybe. We'll have discussions about what they do in the spring and what they do in the offseason. But as for now, over the next 2 weeks, my expectations are they're going to win football games, but I'm not expecting them to rush for 180, 190 yards in a game.
100. Can they get to half of that? I mean, they got to 30 last week against Georgia. So can they get to 90? They're averaging 71 in SEC games. So if they get to 130, that'd be a huge win.
130 is a huge day for Texas, for Texas running backs today and the offensive line. And everybody included in what they have to do offensively. 130 yards would be special for this football team.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, it'd be nice. And, Arkansas was giving up over 180 rushing yards per game on the ground. My hope is this is game 11, Buck. It's amazing that this hasn't happened through the first 10 weeks. I hope somebody gets over 100 yards.
An individual rushes for 100 yards?
An individual. Texas has gotten there as a team a few times this year, but no individual player has gotten over the century mark. Obviously, Trey Wisner, the most likely. He's your number one back. He's going to lead your team in carries. Can this be the game where the University of Texas, I mean, Earl Campbell is 100 yards to the left of us.
Yes.
Like, there's so many great running backs at this university through the years. It's amazing that we're 10 games through the season and we haven't had anybody go over the century mark at a game. Can this finally be the day where that happens?
Well, it'll have to be today because I don't think it's going to be next week.
I don't either.
It would have to be today. This is the last chance saloon playing against a team like Arkansas, because next week you rush for 130, then you're probably going to beat A&M. So you need to do it today. If you want to try to get in tune and get ready for a game next week, you got to have a rusher really stand out today. So, and I'm looking for Trey Wisner to do just that, but it won't surprise me if it doesn't happen. I don't think it's going to surprise anybody if it just doesn't happen.
You've got a pretty big sample size of it now.
Yes, we do.
Right. So, and we talked about Arkansas being second to last in the conference in rush defense. Texas already played the team that ranks last in rush defense. That was Mississippi State. The Longhorns totaled 72 yards as a team in that overtime thriller in Starkville.
Yeah, I mean, this is your opportunity. This will be your last chance. Now, beating Texas A&M next week is already going to be a huge task unto itself, but rushing in that game is going to be even harder.
Yeah.
I would expect if this team plays its best game of the year, they can go into that game. But even going into that game next week against number 3 team in the nation, the number 3 team in the nation is going to have to make them make mistakes, and they're going to have to give you a couple themselves too.
Sure. Well, yeah, the number one objective for today is win, right?
Yes.
The number 2 objective is get some confidence going into the A&M game.
Absolutely.
I wonder where this team's confidence is right now after what happened to them 7 days ago. I wouldn't feel nearly as good if they were playing A&M today.
No.
But hopefully they get a chance, again, against one of the worst teams, a team that's last place in the conference right now. We're only win, but to look good in all 3 phases.
We're talking about what a beautiful day it is, and an opportunity over 100,000 will show up today, at DKR. So you want to show the fans that you're still in this. Anytime that you have a chance and there is a possibility of you making it to the college playoffs, you got to take advantage of it. You can't go in there thinking that we just need to beat this team. We just need to beat the team. No, you just need to beat the team next week, but you need to beat this team up. They're not good, and you can't look bad doing it.
I'm with you on that. All right, let's hear from Steve Sarkisian. We've got plenty of sound from the head coach throughout this pregame show. Sark on Thursday talking about his team's resiliency, right? A lot of people have shut the door on this 2025 Texas Longhorn season. Steve Sarkisian saying his group has been hard at work and they've been resilient throughout the week.
What a great opportunity for our team. Anytime you lose a ball game, especially on the road in a caliber game that we were in, I think it can really test your character and test your culture. And one thing that this team has shown me throughout this season is the resiliency that they possess. And this week has been no different. And I give our players and our staff a ton of credit for the way that they've come right back to work, understanding there's a lot of football left to be played. And we've got a great opportunity to be back in DKR. We played here once since September. So to be back in DKR should be a great environment. And I know our team, our coaches, everybody involved in our organization is looking forward to the opportunity of playing a longstanding rival in Arkansas, team who hadn't been here in nearly 20 years. But I know how much this game means to Longhorn Nation. And so we're excited about the opportunity. I'll tell you what, our guys have been working really hard. They got great energy. They're detailed in what they're trying to get done. So looking forward to it.
he's saying all the right things, and that's exactly what the head coach should say. But once again, for the fans that have watched this team play all year, it's I guess we want to see what happens at the end of the game, how the outcome is, and how your team performs in that game, because we've heard it for 10, 11 weeks in a row, how they're prepared, how they're ready, and how they're going to react. And we've seen a lot of games where he's talked about how they're ready to go, and they haven't been ready to go. So we'll see at the end of the game, at the end of the day. We'll see how they come out, how they start this game off, and how they finish the game. It's not, now we start to know it's not about how they start,
right?
Because we've been asking for fast starts for the beginning of the season till now. And some games they have started fast, but now they're starting to finish with a bunch of mistakes, and teams have come back on them. So it's about 4 quarters. How you play 4 quarters of football. You don't just get to play 3 quarters or you go in at halftime and call it a day. You play 4 quarters of football, and we need to see this team play 4 quarters in every aspect of the game.
It's a great point.
Trust what the coach says. Don't trust in how you've been prepared and how our coaches have coached and how they've showed me this, and show us for 4 quarters.
A lot to unpack there.
Yes, there is.
I think every Texas fan is tired of hearing Sark talk about how many great weeks of practice they've had.
Sure.
Right? Every Thursday press conference, we hear Steve Sarkisian tell us we've had a great week of practice, and it's say, show me the baby.
Absolutely.
I don't care about the labor. Show me the baby. And there have been too many ugly babies, if you will, this year for Texas. That's number one. Number two, I can't even remember what number 2 was. I was so caught up in number 1. Can't even remember where I was going to go with that. Oh, number 2, to your point, Texas has been outscored 21-0 in the last 2 fourth quarters, right? Like they had that huge lead over Vanderbilt. That game got a lot closer than we wanted it. And I'm going to say Texas was only down 14-10.
Oh, boy.
Going into the 4th quarter against Georgia, they get outscored 21-0, and that game turns into a blowout. So you're right. We have not seen this team play 60 minutes of consistent football. Right? The Oklahoma game was their best performance of the year. Texas was down at halftime in Dallas. The Vanderbilt game, they played great for 3.5 quarters. They totally crapped the bed down the stretch. So we have not seen them in all 3 phases. And again, not everything is going to go perfect. You're going to have a bad drive. You're going to have mistakes. I understand that. But we have not seen them play a consistent game for 60 minutes this year. I don't think you need that to beat Arkansas today.
No.
But it'd be really nice to see it, again, to blow them out and also to get some confidence going into A&M.
Yeah, it's about getting that confidence from whether it's A&M, whether you get in the playoffs or not, whether you go to a bowl game. Your team needs to look like it's a confident team, but it needs to look like it's a confident team from the 1st quarter to the 4th quarter. And you don't win all of those games, but your team looks good in doing it. And you don't have little things that come back to haunt you. You don't have a bunch of penalties, things like that screw with you in the end. That's when you show that you got confidence in your coaches, that you understand what they're trying to tell you and what they want you to perform and how they want you to perform. What that tells me is there's a lack of details at the end of the games now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So you're good for 3 quarters, but in the 4th quarters, you start doing things the way you want to do them and forget what the coaches told you to do. You just don't pay attention to the details, and that's not a good sound football team right now.
Did you say the P word?
Yeah, I said the P word. Yes, I did.
We've got little kids right around us.
Yeah,
The P word. Like that.
I said the P word again. Yeah, that'll be important. That'll be important today, and that's that confidence level. When you have a bunch of penalties, when your team is one of the most penalized teams in football, period.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's a lack of focus. That's a lack of paying attention to detail. All the things that Sark says on Mondays that I thought we were ready. We really had a good practice. We did this. Our staff was ready to go. Well, they're not paying attention to details. They get a lot of penalties. So that shows me they're not confident in what they do. They just don't let it flow. They're worried. Their feet aren't in the right position. Their hands aren't in the right position. So, early in the week, the question was asked of Sark, and he talked about, penalties and why we get penalties. There's a variety of reasons we get penalties. Well, tell us some of the varieties, Coach, so that we know that that's exactly what you're working on. So we don't have to take your word for that's what you're doing. We want to see it, because once we see it again, we'll say, well, are you really working on that?
Texas is 2nd in the country in penalties per game. Let me tell you, that's not a stat you want to be near the top.
Oh, no, that shows a lack of discipline.
Yeah, more than 8 penalties per game, accepted penalties per game, by the way. That doesn't include the ones that have been declined throughout the course of the season. And yeah, Texas, only Georgia State commits more penalties on a per-game basis than the Longhorns do. Here's that Q&A, that back and forth during Sark's press conference on Monday that you referenced, just for the folks who haven't heard it yet, and the folks who were here at Scholz Garten. Steve Sarkisian was asked about the penalty issues, why Texas has had so many of them this year. Here's a very brief back and forth.
Coach, what's been happening from a penalty perspective? And, I know obviously that's got to be a source of frustration for you, but what's going on? Why has that been a continual theme?
We're getting called for penalties.
Is there any particular reason why?
There's a variety of them.
Yeah, there's a variety of reasons, Coach. Yeah.
Well, we watch the games. We see false starts. We see offsides, holdings, everything.
We can, if you have forgotten some of the ways that you guys have had penalties, we can help you with that because people watch the games and see why you have them, why your punt team is still having illegal procedures on your punt team. The whole season's just gone by, and it's just a matter of, can you just line up without shaking and moving and shivering around? And your team can't do that on the special teams. Your offensive linemen are still jumping and bobbling around, and you haven't got that fixed yet. So, yeah, we know there's a variety of reasons. What are you doing? Tell us what you're doing to prevent that. I mean, that's all people want to know is, what are you doing, Coach, to prevent those kind of penalties? Are our hands in the wrong positions? Tell us that. Are you working on that? Tell us that. Don't give us the snarky answer. Just give us the real reason why it's going on.
Right.
And just let us know that you're working on that. Getting short with reporters is not the direction you need to go. Just tell them what's going on. People want to know what's going on. They have a right to know why you continue to do this, why you almost lead the nation in penalties. And you know what? Because then you'll tell us on Monday, I thought we were focused. I thought we were mentally prepared. We really had some good practice, because then eventually the people are going to go, you're not telling us the truth. Practices can't be like that if this is what you bring to the game.
If you lose to 2-8 Arkansas,
oh goodness,
you cannot tell us you had a good week of practice.
No, that won't hold on a Monday.
No.
So I'm hoping that once again, this team is the same team when we saw against Vanderbilt that shows their fans that they're ready to perform and ready to play at a high level today.
I think this is, this whole Texas season has kind of been expect the unexpected, right?
Sure.
One thing I think we can all expect today, a lot of laundry on the field.
Yes.
We've talked about Texas's penalty numbers. Buck, earlier this season, Arkansas committed 18 penalties in one game.
That's amazing.
Now, not as bad on a per-game basis as Texas is, but Arkansas is 107th in the country. They're at 7.2 penalties committed a game. Texas is at 8.2. So, again, in a year of expecting the unexpected, maybe expect a lot of yellow hankies on the field today.
From teams.
Both teams.
Yeah.
And one team's 7-3, the other one's 2-8. So for Texas, it hasn't always cost them. It's cost them in their losses. But for Arkansas, they have been very good at shooting themselves in the foot all season.
It's amazing. 18 penalties in a game. Boy, you're talking about wanting to turn the TV off or get out of your seat and go home and watch something else. That would hurt right there.
I think Texas's season high is 11 this year.
Wow.
So at least we haven't gotten to that 18 number, but we're close.
It's amazing.
We're close. So, maybe expect that today. Here's another one from Steve Sarkisian, kind of along those lines. He was asked, he was a little less snarky in this answer, if he's surprised by his team's lack of discipline at this stage of the season.
I think, like I said, seasons as they go, you ride the wave of where your issues are. I don't think anybody is a finished, perfect product, even right now. And we're all trying to get better. We were playing without Michael Taft for a couple weeks. We didn't play with Jelani the week before. He gets knocked out the first drive of the game. Now they're back in the game. And so trusting that communication is one of the key components to playing really good pass defense. And the lack of that was the issue where we have to get back to that. I don't think that's a really hard fix for us. I think that's something that we can get fixed and fixed fairly quickly. I wish we could have done it in game. We just couldn't quite get it right. But again, there's gonna be some issues. We didn't fit a couple runs that we should have been fitting way better than we did. And so there's things defensively that we can improve upon and improve quickly upon. And we're going to need to, because Arkansas is going to challenge us that way.
This level, BK, you just can't have the kind of drop off that he talks about. Yeah. If one guy isn't playing in the game, if one guy is missing, you can't have the drop off where it looks so noticeable if Michael Taft isn't in the game. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't play, how can that happen to your secondary? Or how can they look that bad? They're really good athletes back there. They'll miss the experience, but the next guy up should be as good an athlete and been around this program long enough to do well. And that's what scares you about a little bit about this group when he says that. Well, no, we have this person back, we have that person back. I mean, those individuals made that much of a difference that your backups aren't. How good are your backups here now?
Well, that's a great question, but also my response to Sark there would be, you had all those guys against Georgia.
Yeah.
There's still way too many open receivers. I mean, Gunnar Stockton had 5 touchdowns against your defense last week. He got whatever he wanted. So even when you were fully healthy, there were still breakdowns and missed.
I'll say this, when he talks about the season is different, games are different, and everything else. When Texas plays Georgia, that's a whole season unto itself.
Yeah.
And right now, for the last 3 times, it's not good.
It's the last season of it's not good. Yeah, it's not what we're looking for.
Yeah, when that game comes up in 2027 now,
Yeah.
I'm going to look at that, and no matter how Texas is played in 2026, I'm going to look at 2027. And when the Georgia comes on, I'm going to say this is a championship unto itself right here, and I don't trust this football team.
I'm gonna
I
take
trust
off.
Kirby.
I'm gonna take off that day.
Oh my
It'll
goodness.
be good. I'll be on vacation. I don't want to talk about that game.
It just feels like when he says every game is like a different season unto itself. I'm thinking, well, that particular game is truly a different season, and you can't beat that group.
Put
Put that season away and try to figure that one out.
Yeah, let's focus on this season.
Oh my goodness.
Say that, and call it a 2-game season if you want for these final 2 games. You can call it a 1-game season, whatever cliche you want to use.
In this particular remainder 2 games, I'm going to give this head coach really the benefit of the doubt. He's done such fantastic things for this program over the last 5 years. I mean, he's really 4 years. He's really built this and started this in a direction that it needs to continue to go.
Yeah.
I don't have any thoughts about saying that guy's got to go. He's not the guy to get it done. But there's certain little things, quirky, really weird things that just remind me of another guy that was here at a time. And that scares me about him.
Scott McAvick?
Well,
Oh,
not quite.
okay. I didn't say what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. I mean,
Just messing with it.
it's just
Yeah.
he's just got to come just fix it.
Yeah.
People here just want it fixed. They don't want to hear about it on Monday and say how you thought you did this or how you thought you did the other thing. Just fix it.
Yeah, more of a big picture conversation, but we can make it small picture here. There are a lot of Texas fans calling for the Longhorns to hire an offensive play caller, right? And we've had some great listeners all year long been calling for that. And I don't know,
Called him for it at the end of last year.
calling for it at the end of last year. And I was like, let it happen. He's done too good of a job the last 2 years to make any big changes like that. But with the way this season has gone, that's something that is on the table for more Longhorn fans now than ever before. And you wonder if that's something that's on the table for Chris Del Conte and the powers that be at Texas. So I wonder if this 2-game season, if you will, coach, is not Steve Sarkisian coaching for his job. Like, he's not going anywhere. But is he coaching for his ability to remain this team's offensive play caller? Like, if Texas's offense sputters these last 2 weeks, and let's say they go 1-1, let's say they win today but lose next week, they end the year 8-4 after starting as the preseason #1 team in America. Is that where, hey, change has to be made to where, hey, Steve Sarkisian, we love you. You can stay as the head coach, but you got to hire somebody else. I wonder if that is, besides everything else that's on the line, 2 rivalry games, a potential playoff spot, I wonder if that's another thing that could be at stake here in November.
Well, I know the guy who has his hands in charge of the entire football program, the play caller, the head coach. I hope he's smart enough to understand that maybe there's some other things that I can do for this football team besides calling plays and being a head coach. Maybe I need to talk to the defense during the game.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to talk to the defensive back coach, the running back coach, and every part of the team. Maybe I can be more involved. I have experience. Maybe I need to be doing those things when somebody else is in charge of calling the plays. Now, that doesn't mean I don't veto a play that I don't think is the right play at this situation.
Sure.
But you're not going to veto every one of them, but let somebody else have that responsibility who's good. There are a lot of play callers out there in the country that are pretty doggone good and that can do that. Maybe you're better suited to be the head coach on game day, still be a part of the play calling situation and down and distance and things like that. But you also have to work with the defense. You also have to work with individual. You've got to coach your coaches during the game, during the week. That's your responsibility too. And maybe he's smart enough to understand, maybe I've gotten to that part of my career now where I can do those things. Maybe I'm better suited to help the football team and not just be worried about what the offense is and looking at my play sheet and down on one knee and wonder, looking like I'm, been shocked by lightning and maybe what's my next play call instead of worrying about how can I help the defense? How can I help the special teams coach? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not having,
And I work the refs a little bit.
you can work the refs. How can I not have a team go an onside kick on me
Yeah.
and be exposed to stuff like that? Maybe he can do those things because that's a part of his job too.
He doesn't want to give it up.
No, hell no, nobody's ego wants to give it up.
Yeah, he was asked about it a few weeks ago, and he said, that's why I was brought to the University of Texas, and I trust my ability to do that. And I think he's right on the first part. I think that is a huge reason why Texas hired him away from Alabama. It's like, obviously, he wasn't the head coach at Alabama. He was just focused on one task versus doing
And he did a great job at that.
Of course, absolutely. So that's, again, I wonder if that is kind of on the line for Steve Sarkisian. Like if Texas goes out and scores 40 points in these last two games, they win both of these games, then all right, to start get another year, like, hey, just trust me, give me another opportunity to do all of these things. I know I'm good for it. Or if things don't go well, is it, nah, we're going to do what Ohio State did with Ryan Day and say, hey, that's great. You've been close, but you're not getting us where we want to get. So you're going to have to hire an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I think there's something that he'll have to think about. He's heard enough of it himself that he's going to have to sit down with himself, people that he trusts around him, and make that kind of decision himself too. You don't want to be forced into doing that.
No.
You want to do that because you're a good coach and you're the head coach of the football team, not the head coach of the football offense.
Right.
So what's best for the team, I think you have to, for a guy who makes $11 million, you have to make that decision. You want to continue to make that money, or do you want people on your back about making some other decisions that, quite frankly, are pretty easy for you to make? You can drop your ego aside, and if you can help the team, you help the team that way. So I think he'll think about that himself.
We'll see.
But I know one thing, it's going to be hard to do that. It's going to be hard for him to do that. He's so used to doing it and used to being in charge of the plays. But like I said, you don't get away from that. You're still in the meetings. If a play is called, you can always say, no, don't want to do that. Give me something else. Or let me give you something that I want to do right now. The play callers, they give up the play calling anyway. They do that anyhow. They veto stuff that comes down from upstairs.
Sure.
You're allowed to do that. You're the head coach.
Right. Veto anything that counts.
But you also have to be in charge of helping out other parts of the program. And he has all that experience as a football coach, period, around offense, or just around football itself, that he could be helping out the defense. I really do. I think some of this stuff that we're seeing in the fourth quarter with this defense and this secondary, I think the head coach can help them too in all of that stuff. He can be sitting on the sideline doing stuff with them instead of worried about his play calling sheet. He can do that. He can be at practices where he's over with the defense instead of worrying about what my next play call is here, for my quarterback, my young quarterback. He can give that up, but he doesn't hurt the team that way. He may be helping the team more by doing some of these other things.
A lot of the elite coaches in college football do call plays.
But I guarantee you, Ryan Day is in every part of Ohio State's, not just offense. He's over there with the defensive coaches. He's with the running back coach. He's with definitely with the wide receiver coach. He's helping them all out now. Now that he doesn't do all that play calling stuff, now he can let all the experience that he has in coaching just get throughout the whole team. That seems like it makes more sense than anything. Who the hell is running around calling plays anymore?
There aren't
a
ton of coaches who are doing it these days. So again, that's more of an off-season, big picture.
Yes, it is.
Conversation, and obviously for today's game, Steve Sarkisian will be the head coach and the play caller.
Yeah.
So what are you expecting from the Texas offense? We talked about the run game a little bit. We'll get back to that in a second. But Arch Manning, I think, has played a lot better in the second half of the season. Now, last week he did have his first interception in a month. Not his best game. He also didn't get helped by the fact that there were 5 drops by the Texas pass catchers. He was pressured 30 times, and there was no run game to speak of whatsoever. I thought Arch Manning was Texas's best offensive player. For whatever it was worth, the team scored 10 points. It wasn't a great showing. But I think Arch Manning has gotten a lot better as this year has progressed. And again, going up against maybe the worst defense he'll see this season, hopefully an opportunity for him to put together a strong.
I think it's a game where he can really, really shine. He can be somebody that the fans will kind of lean on. Oh, that's the kid that we thought we were going to see early in the season. Yeah. Well, he wasn't that kid early, but he's been that kid lately that's kind of grown up into the game. He's been punched in the mouth. He's had concussions. He's been hit a lot. Obviously, now he understands the speed of the game. There is no doubt that he knows what the speed of the game is. Some would say at Ohio State, he learned what the speed of the game was. But throughout the whole season, because of the rush and people that have been in his face, he knows what college football is like. This isn't like practice. This is the real thing coming at him, because his offensive line has not protected him all that well. So I think he's matured in that way of understanding. No matter what happens with this offensive line in this run game, my job is to protect the football.
Yeah.
My job is not to put the ball in harm's way. And I think he'll have a great game today. I think he'll show that maturity today.
Arch Manning's last home game, the win over Vanderbilt, he was 25 of 33, 328 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. He was magnificent in that game. The whole Texas offense did pretty much whatever it wanted for 3.5 quarters, and Arch was a huge part of that. He was able to get the ball out of his hands quickly. Buck, he only ran it one time in that game against Vanderbilt. He was quick, he was confident, he was decisive, he was accurate. A lot of words we did not use to describe Arch Manning early in the year. We used it the last time he was at home, so hopefully it's more of the same today.
Well, what he's not is not skittish anymore. He's not, he's pretty decisive when he wants to throw the ball to whoever it is, whoever will catch it. But,
he will catch it.
Yeah, who will catch. I mean, his decision making has really been good, and his protection of the ball. I mean, we haven't seen anything that almost looks close to him throwing it to the other guy. Overthrows it, hit a guy right in the breadbasket when he's sitting behind a receiver. He's been pretty smart at what he's doing there. I think he understands what the head coach, when he calls plays, is looking for him to do.
Yeah.
And if it's not there, he's not going to put the ball in harm's way.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a little tentative because he'll run, but he'll be a little tentative. Nobody wants to go back and see the birds, surrounding your head and the stars. I think he'll be smart when it comes to that. I hope he continues to be that way with the ball. Don't need to see him get hurt in the next couple of weeks. You don't need to see him get another concussion period because he's got a long career. And you don't want that to be for him all of a sudden have a soft melon. And you don't want it today. And as I said, this should be a game where I'm not expecting it, but they should run the ball well enough to keep a lot of pressure off of him, even with this offensive line.
We've got a Peyton Manning Indianapolis Colts jersey in the building. I don't know if I've seen one of those this year. You would think with a nephew, we'd see some Eli, we'd see some Peytons in the stands, but I don't know if you're seeing one of those.
No.
I guess it's blue. I don't know why you'd wear a blue jersey to a Texas game. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Stadium.
But you're not playing a blue team today, so I guess you can get away with it. That's perfectly fine. I think everyone knows who you're rooting for if you're wearing a jersey with the name Manning.
That'll work.
On the back. All right, well, what about these wide receivers, Buck? Ryan Wingo was on the injury report Wednesday and Thursday. He was taken off last night's injury report, which means he's active. He will be good to go. The number one wide receiver for this Texas team, been a huge focal point for this offense, but he has been about as consistent as the Austin weather when it comes to catching the football this year. Do you agree with the continuation of the game plan of kind of force-feeding number one the ball, or do you think that with all of the inconsistencies, including 2 more drops a week ago, that maybe it's time for Sark and company to switch things up?
Once they fall in love with somebody, they stay in love with them. So I wouldn't expect anything different, but then to try to make him the focal point of the game. He's very inconsistent when it comes to catching. He's a wide receiver that can't catch, but I mean, he catches them every once in a while.
Sure.
I mean, when you're talking about a wide receiver and you talk about a guy catching them every once in a while, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for that position. It's not good at all. I mean, you got to catch 95% of balls that touch your hand. I mean, that's what you're expected to do. And he struggles with that right now. I don't know what that is. I don't know how you fix that. The only one who can fix that is Ryan Wingo. I'm sorry. That's not Jug's machine. That's catchy catch. That's in the backyard. That's going out and doing that an awful lot. And now he's got a thumb injury that, quite frankly, is probably pretty sore after last week.
Yeah.
After just 1 week of dislocating, it's hard enough to dislocate any of your fingers, but I've never had a dislocated thumb. And to think about what you have to do with your thumb, there's not, like I said, there's nothing to hook that up to protect it. It's just still going to be dangling out there. And for him, he needs them all. He needs the toes and everything else for his catching to be consistent at catching the football. So you hope that things will change for him as time goes on, because he is a guy who, if he was consistent in his catching, what kind of number one would he be? He'd be fantastic. Oh my God, like some of these other great young receivers that we see in the nation that people just throw it up for grabs and they go get it.
His after catch ability can't be questioned. He's one of the most explosive playmakers in the sport when he has the football.
As bad as the running game's been, he and Arch Manning are the 2 best runners that they have.
Probably right. They did try to run Wingo a couple of times last week. Didn't really go anywhere.
But you have to do that with him. No matter what, you still have to give him an opportunity to get the ball in his hands. If it's not catching, you have to give it to him on reverses where you flip it in the air and maybe he can catch it in his breadbasket and go with it. But he's too much of a dynamic runner with the ball not to do that with.
I just wonder if you even throw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage to Ryan Wingo. Like even the easier beyond the line of scrimmage throws, right? Those crossers over the middle, he's not catching those. The swing passes he's catching, and he's going a long way. But I know you have to have more versatility than that.
That's such a part of the offense of those crossing routes.
Yeah, I know.
And how many of those things have you caught since you came to Texas? And now even, going in your second year, you can't catch them.
It's tough.
It's not. Now, Arch Manning early in the season put him in some weird situations where they're slightly behind him. But lately, they've been hitting him right where you need to be hit, in stride, with nobody in front of you. Plus, that dude is not looking up like he's scared to have contact. That guy likes contact.
Yeah.
He likes for you to try to tackle him because he's a beast when he's got the ball and he's running with it. So he's not afraid of some 180-pounder hitting him and knocking him out. He's ready to go. He just can't catch it.
I know. It was before the thumb injury too, right?
This isn't something that this kid all of a sudden, oh no, he's got a thumb injury. Bucky, you got to be a little light on it, a little bit easy on the guy. He's got a bad thumb right now. No, that dude couldn't catch before the thumb injury.
Yeah, it would help for him to end the season on a high note. Hopefully a strong performance today. Again, a very susceptible Arkansas.
If you're a fan and they throw the ball to Ryan Wingo and it's a bomb, you're sitting in your seat going, oh my goodness. Is there really a chance that there's nobody around him and he could actually drop the ball?
Yeah.
If I sit there and think of that, I'm just waiting till he grips the ball, takes it, and starts to go with it.
Yeah.
Before I'm like, oh, that's automatic. That's a touchdown. There are times you and I, we've been watching football a long time. We see a throw, we see a receiver open, and we go touchdown. Oh, the problem isn't the guy. The problem is it'll be overthrown or underthrown. But when we see it and we know it's a touchdown, we generally go touchdown. When Wingo goes out there, it's like, hold on. Let's just hold on for 1 second. Let's just wait until he puts it underneath his arms and starts to run into the end zone.
Hey, don't lump me into your age bracket, please. You and I have been watching football a long time.
Mentioned it long enough that you know it's an automatic touchdown.
I do.
And you know what gives you a little bit of stress when the ball's in the air. That dude gives you stress.
Yeah, it does. He does. Absolutely. So we'll see what we get from Ryan Wayne.
A great game. He is unstoppable.
I would like to see Emmett Mosley be a bigger part of the offense because it feels like he's done just about everything right since coming back from injury. They kind of eased him in to the rotation in his first few weeks back, but I think he's the best route runner on this team. He's got pretty good hands.
That young man that has another year.
He's only a sophomore. He's a sophomore.
Oh, that's right. That dude will be around for a while.
Yeah.
He'll end up being the number one.
Yeah, it might be. I mean,
because you can't think of the other superstars that they went out and got 5 stars that don't even play in the game. I mean, so you can't think of all of them. All of a sudden, they're going to come into the forefront.
Right.
They haven't gone into a game this year. No, I would think he will be your guy. He'll be consistent. He'll be stronger. Once again, as you said, he's just a sophomore. He's going to get bigger and stronger too.
This should be a box score game for the Texas offense. We're bringing up all of these individual players. We're about to pick our offensive player of the game prediction. But again, in Arkansas defense, that ranks dead last in the SEC in scoring and total defense. The last time Texas played Arkansas here in Austin was 2008. Cole McCoy had 5 touchdowns in that game, 3 through the air, 2 on the ground. I would love to see a similar type of stat line. I don't know if 52-10 is going to happen. I just don't think this Texas team is all that good. But I would love to see an offensive outburst and a big stat game for the Longhorns today because we haven't seen enough of that this year.
Yeah, the problem is with teams that play in the SEC, it's you want to get stat games, and you probably should get stat games against the Mississippi States of the world, the Arkansas of the world. But for this Texas team, as you said, they're just not good enough to get stat games.
The offense got a stat game in Starkville because he scored 45 points.
Yes.
The defense had a bad stat game in Starkville, but the offense, thanks to that massive comeback, hell, even the backup quarterback threw a touchdown in that game. So, yeah, the offense against another atrocious defense fared pretty well. And again, it's maybe the most confounding part of this 2025 season. I do not want to make it sound like the offense has been perfect. They scored 10 points last week. They still have some issues. But the defense started the year so elite. And we're all just like, oh, if only the offense can figure it out. We can be a really dangerous team. And now the offense has kind of figured it out. And now the defense stinks. The last 3 games, they've been one of the worst defenses in America. So it's just like, God, we were waiting for the offense to come along, and they came along. But now, the defense has almost replaced the offense as the problem child of this team.
Yeah, that's the part I don't think you see today. If they can contain the quarterback for Arkansas, I think things should be okay. I don't see them having a bunch of wide receivers running through the secondary.
Yeah.
Although over the last couple of
I was
weeks,
about to say, I don't know. I don't know how you can feel that confident in
Yeah.
saying that. So we'll get to the Texas defense against the Hogs offensive moment. But first, let's get to our offensive player of the game prediction. Brought to you by our great friends at Moonshine, Patio, Bar, and Grill. I'll tell you more about them in a moment. Buck, who you got today, man?
well, I'd love to say it's going to be Trey Wisner, but I'm not going to say that because I'm not talking about anything in the run game except for if they do something, I'll be totally surprised. But I'll have to say Arch Manning. I think this is, if there's going to be a stat game, this is the one where he can have a real, really have a lot to do with the way this team wins, offensively, defensively, just leading the team. I think he can have stat numbers. I think he can have smart numbers, and they don't have to be crazy big. They just have to be consistent throwing the ball, who he goes to with the ball, guys catching the football. But this will be about him today, I believe.
Yeah.
Offensively, I want to say the run. I wanted to make a running back so bad, I just couldn't do it.
I'm going to do it.
Oh no,
Jack Andrews. No, I'm kidding. I'm not doing Jack Andrews.
don't do Jack Andrews. He's already wasted a career here in Texas.
It's going to happen for Trey Wisner today.
You think so?
I think so. Maybe the dumbest thing I've ever said in my entire life, but
We will talk about this thought on Monday.
oh yeah,
Sure.
no, I'll get roasted, and I deserve to be roasted if I'm wrong on this because this is really going out on a limb. It shouldn't be because you're playing against a horrible run defense, but Texas has been the worst running offense in the conference this year. I think Trey Wisner finally gets over the century mark. I'm not going to say anything crazy like 180, 190. I'm going to say he goes for 110 and 2 touchdowns today.
You want to throw Cedric Baxter in there too? You want to throw him in for a couple of yards?
I thought you were going to ask if I wanted to throw money on it, and my answer would be no. So my answer is probably no for both.
You want to put that backup running back in there that they've been throwing out there who's just running into piles?
I mean, who's the number 2 running back on this team? I guess it's C.J. Baxter, but they abandoned the run game so quickly against Georgia that, recently the run game hasn't really been a part of the offense.
It doesn't.
So I don't know if we're going to see James Simon today. I don't know if we're going to see Ryan Niblett get some carries. I don't know if we're going to see Ryan Wingo get a few carries in the reverse. I don't know.
You just wanted to happen so bad for Trey Wisner in this run game. I understand, and you're right. If it's not happening this week, it's not happening next week.
Right. And Trey Wisner in the last 2 games has 31 total touches. That was one game for him last year. 31 total touches. That's runs and receptions combined. And then C.J. Baxter off the bench, just 12. So, again, it's not just like they're not running the football. They're not really throwing the running backs the football this year either. That was a staple in the Screen Sarkisian offense last year.
No, they just don't. They're not getting a chance to.
No.
They're not quite the same. The offensive line isn't quite the same when they're blocking for the run or the pass or dump off and screens. It's just not the same group.
Yeah, they're not. But today, I think, is the day for Trey Wisner.
Like I said, what a beautiful day. If you're a running back to be out there in this weather right here,
man.
not hot, it's great.
Perfect day. Perfect day. All right, I'm offensive player of the game. Brought to you by our great friends, Buck, at Moonshine, Patio, Bar.
Love it. If you're going to go to brunch tomorrow or dinner tonight, head on over to the Moonshine, Patio, Bar and Grill. If you've already gone there for lunch, I know you enjoyed yourself. Lots of traffic down there, lots of construction going on, but they've got their own parking lot there, and you'll enjoy everything about Moonshine, Patio, Bar and Grill. 2 great locations downtown, also out at Avery Ranch area. Moonshine, Patio, Bar and Grill. Take Dad's credit card, take Mom's credit card. Pay for everybody. Have a great brunch tomorrow, folks.
You don't even have to invite Mom or Dad.
No.
Just sleep in. Sure. And then grab the card, grab the keys to the whip, and then let's go.
And by the way, they're both used to you doing that, so go ahead and take it.
Yeah, you've been doing it for years anyway.
We'll see it now.
By the way, we might have to mention this a few times on our daily show. All you can eat Thanksgiving buffet on Turkey Day. Just $42.95 per guest. All the turkey, the stuffing, the cranberry sauce, the casserole,
The pie that they'll have.
the everything. If you don't want to cook, you don't want to host, let Moonshine do the dishes.
Maybe I'll stroll down there for my ice cream treat
Oh,
for Thanksgiving.
I bet they'll have some of that for you.
Oh, you know they will.
They will be ready to go. MoonshineGrill.com to make your reservations. They're the best. We absolutely love them. All right, we will get back to Texas, Arkansas in a moment, but we have to get to our first round of scoreboard updates, powered by our great friends at Gobundance.
Yes,
I'll
indeed.
tell you a little bit more about them momentarily, but some games in progress right now. Let me refresh the computer here, make sure we're giving everybody the up-to-date scores. Texas A&M, who, of course, the Longhorns will see 6 days from now here in Austin. No problems with Samford early on. They're 30-0.
Son?
I don't know if the Sun made it today.
Okay.
Stanford's 1-10. I think the Sun's been on IR this year. A&M taking care of business against their cupcake opponent. They're up 31-0 at halftime. No surprises there. We are rooting against Oklahoma today. Not that that's ever a hard thing to do. The Sooners on top of Missouri 14-6 at halftime. Mizzou jumped out to a 3-0 lead. They had a field goal to make it 6-0. They missed. OU scored 14 unanswered. Mizzou kicked a field goal right before halftime, so that is a one-possession game. But Oklahoma with the lead in Norman.
Yes, we always wanted them to lose, but the Aggies just keep marching on. Score 100 today.
That's what you're rooting for.
Yeah, sure. 100 on Sanford. So coming here ready to go.
100 on Sanford?
Yeah, go ahead and put a 100 on them.
At 30 minutes time, you're going to pick up the pace.
Yes.
In the second 30 minutes. Number 1, Ohio State, a bit shorthanded today. They're on top of Rutgers at halftime, 14-3. Miami at Virginia Tech. The Hurricanes, right now the ACC's representative in the college football playoff. They're up 20-3.
There you go, James Franklin. That's what you got to get ready for.
Is Franklin coaching? I mean, they're playing a ranked team, so it looks like he might be coaching.
Just get ready to coach that group up right now. Just get both race.
Yeah, and then Georgia right now, they are playing a cupcake. They're up 28-0 on Charlotte at halftime. That's your other SEC game in progress. So it is cupcake week in the Southeastern Conference.
Yes,
a couple of conference clashes, obviously, including the game here in Austin, but a lot of nobodies on the slate in the SEC today.
That's okay. I mean, we've seen that before we got to the SEC. We would complain about that schedule. We need to get that schedule. We need to have one of those in week 11, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if Cupcake Saturday is going away because we know the conference
with 9 games.
Do a 9-game schedule starting next season. Now, look, hypothetically, you could say, well, we'll play 2 games early, and in week 11, we'll play.
I bet you they continue to do that. I think
it's got to be a mandate from Daddy Sankey.
Yeah, that's true.
I hope he does, man.
Yeah, you can't take that on yourself to do that.
This is like, I'm not saying, look, Texas, they played 3 crappy teams. This is a Texas fan here. This is like second to last week of the college football season.
You're right.
Every game that's played today should have conference title and or college football implications.
I agree.
Georgia playing Charlotte, Alabama playing Eastern Illinois, and playing Sanford. Like is that good for the sports?
No.
Well, it's good for the sport.
If you get your cupcake, do it early in the season when you're trying to get, your starters and your backups some playing time, and you're trying to play off these other schools. If they're in-state schools, you want to give them a couple $1 million to come and get beat up.
Yeah.
Do it early. Don't do it late when it should mean something late.
I'm with you. It just means more, except for today.
Yeah.
For most of the SEC teams. So I digress. Maybe a conversation for another day. But there's your first scoreboard update. When we do another one, we will preview some of the other big games coming up later today. But our scoreboard updates are powered by Gobundance. Texas football is built on legends from Darrell K. Royal setting the standard to bringing home a national title to Vince Young and Colt McCoy leading by example. The Longhorn way is more than talent. It's about discipline. It's about brotherhood, and it's about rising to the occasion. That is the same spirit behind Gobundance, a community of high-achieving men, business professionals, investors, and leaders who push each other to win, not just in business, but in life. If you are ready to live like a champion, then Gobundance is the team that you have been looking for. Join the tribe today. Gobundance.com/TSU. That's Gobundance. Gobundance.com/TSU.
Yes, indeed.
All right, back to the Horns and the Hogs as we broadcast live, coming up on hour number 2 of our Texas football pregame show at Scholz Garten. Love this place, man. Great crowd on.
I mean, what a crowd.
We got here. Hell, you got here before me. I got here around 11. It was already packed.
Yeah, this is quite a crowd here.
Yeah. Haven't had enough home games this season.
Yeah, it seems like we've been away from this place an awful
It's
lot.
only the second home conference game of the year for Texas. And it's 5 days away from Thanksgiving.
Got to have more games in November where you're at home with the weather's like this.
Yeah, and Sark talked about it. We usually don't talk much recruiting during these pregame shows. It's a huge recruiting Saturday for Texas, too, because they've only had one SEC home game, and it was at 11 a.m. the day after Halloween.
You're right.
So unless you're like in Dallas or San Antonio or Houston and you could drive, you got to play high school games on Friday. It's hard for you to get to Austin.
Yeah, you bring those out-of-staters in. That's tough.
Right. And also, I don't know about you in high school, but when I was in high school, I was not trying to wake up at 8 a.m. the day after Halloween.
No.
So, what
day after Christmas or the day after tomorrow.
Obviously, with the A&M game, that's the day after Thanksgiving. We got high school games going on that night with the playoffs. So this is by far and away the biggest recruiting Saturday for the Longhorns this year. hosting a ton of top targets for the class of 2026 and 2027 and 2028 for that matter. So hopefully Texas puts on a good show. Hopefully the crowd puts on a good show. That's another random side effect of the Horns and the Hogs.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, what does help recruiting, the head coach saying that he's staying, that he's not going anywhere. He's made a commitment to Texas football. But once again, you and I, we've been around a while in sports, and to see guys say they're here only to hear somewhere down the line that they may not be here. But you know, when you hear it right from the horse's mouth, that's what you want. That's kind of what I've always wanted for any coach to say. I don't need to talk to their agent. I don't need to hear it from their company. I need the guy to come to himself and say, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
My family's here. I don't want to go anywhere. This is a great place to live. I'm staying. So then I can take his word. So then when he leaves, then I can tell you what a piece of crap they are.
I'm here to
You know what I'm saying?
You know who doesn't care about that? Mike Elko. You know who doesn't care about Steve Sarkisian's comments? Brent Venables.
Oh no. Oh no.
Kalen DeBoer.
Oh no. Those guys,
Be smart.
they're recruiting against you. They're saying, oh, that dude's leaving.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go there?
Why would you want to go there? Come here instead. He's gone. If he's not going this year, he's gone next year.
Oh no, they're going to play this one out. No matter what Sark says,
Yeah.
it's going to be played out for the next couple of years here.
100%. All right, so let's flip the script here. The matchup between the Arkansas offense and the Texas defense. Before we get to the Hogs offense, well, this Texas defense, again, they've sprung a few leaks in recent weeks. We talked about in the last two games, the Longhorns have given up 21 points in each fourth quarter. That was after the Horns gave up 38 in the first 3.5 quarters to Mississippi State. They have fallen apart as of late. They've allowed 11 passing touchdowns in the last 3 games. They're also averaging 325 passing yards allowed in the last 3 games. And it's not like they've gone up against a bunch of first-round NFL quarterbacks.
No, we'll see that next week.
Right. Like Shapen's good, Stockton's good, Pavio's. These guys are good college players, especially Pavio and Stockton. But we didn't see that in the first half of the year from the Texas secondary. And this secondary has been really one of the worst in college football as of late.
Yeah, they play with such confidence. And, you know, they brought in Dwayne Aquina to really help out the secondary. But it really hasn't shown. And what it hasn't shown is the depth that we thought they had. You know, we thought this was going to be a very deep group in the secondary. And now we're seeing that if a couple guys are missing, they don't play well. They just don't. They forget how to play in the fourth quarter. But it's not just the fourth quarter. They give up easy first downs. They back off in zones. When they play zone defense, I guess that gives them the right to be back 15 yards from the receivers. They don't get in anybody's space. You don't see enough really man-to-man, you know, hand fighting going on with this team. There's not a lot of pass interferences because they're nowhere near the receivers to interfere with the guys.
Right.
That's why I said, you know, you get in the line of scrimmage and you do a little hand fighting and you get a penalty called on you for holding, you know, at the line of scrimmage. I'm like, well, that's fine. But you don't see a lot of penalties on the secondary because there's no one in sight.
Yeah.
They play a soft zone and it's extremely soft when you're back at 15 yards. I was so disappointed last week when that third down came against Georgia. It was a key part of the game that they really needed to stop. 3rd and 10, and the secondary and the quarterback was back 15 yards. And I'm thinking, how are you going to? You got to make that up. The receiver takes off. You drop back another 3 yards to 18. He goes to the 10-yard marker, turns around, and just catches the ball. And then you don't show up immediately. It takes you a while to get there. So he ends up running for another 2 or 3 yards. It was just disappointing to see how soft. And when they say soft zone at Texas now, it's extremely soft.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because Steve Sarkisian was asked about that on Thursday. Like, why are you playing so much zone? Would you rather be playing more man coverage? Would you rather be playing more press man coverage?
Mm-hmm.
Sark gave an honest answer. I don't think there's a lot of coach speak here. The problem is the honesty. Like, it's not what we want to hear. Here's Steve Sarkisian a couple of days ago.
I think we would obviously like to play more man. I think playing man to man comes with a lot of confidence. And you earn confidence through positive play. And, I think sometimes we haven't been as confident as we would like to be. And so we've got to continue to help those guys grow into that mold of believing in their ability to play tighter coverage. And, we've had some unfortunate plays for some younger players that have gotten beat in tight coverage. And so that causes you to maybe not be as confident to do that. But I think for us to be at our best, we're going to have to do that, as we continue to grow as a program. Because I think denying the easy passes is one of the traits of a really good defense, that you make people really earn the yards that they get. And so we got to continue to work down that path. And I think we've got some young players that are going to allow us to do that in the future.
That's what I thought Dwayne Aquino would bring to this team.
Yeah.
Confident guys who are not only starters but backups, and they got a chance to be in there, that would want to get up in somebody's face and play some man-to-man, or even play a little bit tighter zone and play confident, like they can come and rally and make plays. It just looked like a bunch of guys in retreat mode to me, and that's not good. You're not going to build any confidence retreating, that's for sure.
That was a great question because it got Sark to open up.
Yes.
Again, he told the real story. The problem is that's just not the answer we want to hear. The right answer.
It is the right answer. You're right.
You don't like hearing going into game 11, and you've got two very good offenses left on your schedule.
Right.
Arkansas is a bad football team, but they're third in the SEC in total offense. You don't like hearing that your secondary is not playing with confidence.
No, and he talks about tackling and everything else. That's a part of what we thought this team would be. I don't think we ever thought, BK, going into the season, that the secondary would be one of the problems right here on the defense. I thought, can the defensive line hold up for 3 straight years? Did they have the right guys, even though they went out and got guys? I'm thinking, eventually, you're not going to do this for 3 straight years with that defense line. Well, they've done that. They've found ways to do it. But the secondary, as it's grown, hasn't really grown. They haven't got, as you say, confident. I mean, what do you want? They're really good athletes. These are people that a lot of people wanted, but where is the confidence? Why aren't they confident back there?
I think Longhorn Nation, this is not everybody within Longhorn Nation, but just Gen Pop, maybe owes Blake Gideon and Terry Joseph an apology because those guys left after last off season for different jobs. A lot of people are like, we don't need those guys. Thank God they're gone. We're trying to upgrade with these hires. And the secondary has been a far cry here in 2025.
It's been a real disappointment right now.
And with what you're saying, like, you felt like the secondary was going to be good. It wasn't just Texas fans who felt that way.
The country thought that.
Like, everybody knew Jahdae Barron was gone. Everybody knew Andrew McCoupa was gone. Football Focus had as their number one secondary going into the season in the country? Texas. Who Athlon Sports in their magazine had as the number one secondary in the country going into the season? Texas. I think Phil Steele was the lowest of all the preseason magazines. The Longhorns has the 6th best secondary in the country.
They have struggled.
There's talent, there's experience, there's depth. Even without the top 2-round picks that you lost, we knew how good those guys were. There were still plenty of reasons to believe that was going to be a strength, maybe the strength of the football team, and it has been anything but.
And now it looks like when the recruiting comes and when you hit the portal, you're going to have to look for players at that position. You and I have talked about the positions we think that they really got to go focus on. I'm looking now at the secondary again and saying, they got to go try to find somebody who's an experienced cornerback or an experienced safety. And I didn't think we'd ever get to that part at Texas. I thought, I'm not saying we're going to be back to DBU, but I didn't think we were going to be to PU. I didn't think that was going to be a possibility this season. And it's all of a sudden turned into that.
Yeah.
And over the next 2 weeks, they're going to get tested because they're going to get tested by this Arkansas quarterback when he takes off and runs, if they can break down and make tackles on him. But they're definitely going to be tested next week because you're playing against 2 NFL guys that are going to the NFL and will be playing in the NFL at wide receiver.
100%.
Not maybe guys that are good enough to be in the NFL. They're like NFL players right now.
Yeah. Mario Fraber, Casey Concepcion, maybe some talent on A&M. Look, this Arkansas passing offense has been pretty good this year, too. Their 2 receivers aren't quite cut from the same cloth as what the Aggies will be bringing here on Friday, but yeah,
you're playing. They're good enough right now.
100%. Lake Travis's wide receivers might be able to make some things happen. I almost feel like I'm insulting Lake Travis when I say that.
Careful with that. Yeah.
Manny Muhammad's been great, by the way. I want to give Manny Muhammad his flowers. He has had a tremendous season. The eye test backs it up. The analytics back it up. He has not been an issue. The number 2 corner has been kind of a revolving door for Texas.
It seems like about 3 or 4 guys that they've tried.
Yeah, Jalen Gilbo has been the starter there for most of the season. But last week you saw a lot of Cade Phillips, the true freshman. You saw a lot of Warren Roberson into the game as well. Steve Sarkisian on Monday was asked about how he thinks the cornerbacks not named Manny Muhammad have been playing this
I
year.
think that was something, from a couple weeks ago, we said we were going to continually look at guys and try to develop some of these guys. And I was really proud of Cade on some plays, and there were some growing pains for Cade Saturday night. They throw a hitch route in front of him at the end of the first quarter, and he makes a tackle. It's about a gain of 6 yards. The very next play to start the second quarter, they tried him on a double move, a hitch and go. And he stayed on top. He defended it really well. Then the quarterback resets and hits branch, and it's about a gain of 40 down to our 6. And then on third down, they run the slant return on him, and he has outside leverage, and he has help inside with Jelani. And that's just the experience of 3rd and 5 of knowing where your help is and be able to sit on that top shoulder, and it's probably a dead play there. So it's hard to get that experience without actually doing it. And so I think there's some growth there for him. Obviously, Jalen's been playing a lot. We've been trying to play Warren, especially on third down, of getting him experience in there. So, because you never know. Knock on wood, Manny, stubs his toe, gets an ankle, whatever it is, you're going to need multiple guys that are going to have to go in there in critical moments. And so if we can get some valuable experience for some guys right now, getting 8, 10, 12 snaps a game, I think that's beneficial for us.
Experience and getting beat up, you're getting it. Coach, if that's what you're saying, that we just need to have experience. Well, you're getting all the experience that you want, and you're not playing that well.
Yeah.
At certain parts of the game in that secondary, you're giving up too much late in the game and having teams come back on you. So you're getting all the experience, but when does it stop being experience and they're good and they're ready to get going?
So there's the coach speak there.
Yes.
Right. Sark saying, we're trying to get guys experience. That's why we're rotating them. It's the starter just hasn't been good enough.
Right.
Like Jalen Gilbo just has not been good enough. He was making that Jade Barron move from slot corner, aka star, to an outside corner spot. And I think every Longhorn fan was like, well, look what Jade did. Maybe we could have this happen again, right? Can lightning strike in the same place twice? It has not this year. And that's why that position, again, has been a rotation. And you're not sure. I'm not sure who the second best corner on this football team is.
No, I'm not either. There's been so many guys that have been rotated back there. And when they rotate them in, they're not getting all that experience. They're getting the experience of us saying, where's the next guy? Because this guy's not good enough.
I think we're going to see a lot of Kate Phillips today. A true freshman. Again, he played his most snaps of the year last week against Georgia. That's Georgia. That's at Georgia. Biggest game of the year, best team you played all year. Like, in that game means that they trust him. And we know this coaching staff, not with every position, wide receiver, but we've seen Grayson Littleton, a true freshman, play every game this year. It's like if they trust you in that defensive backfield, they will give you some stuff. And I think some insider reports, too, that Cade Phillips has gotten a lot more reps with the ones in practice this week. So, obviously, a tall task going up against a pretty solid Arkansas offense, but I do think the coaching staff, once they're ready for Cade Phillips to take over that opposite of Manny Muhammad.
Good. Then let him go get all the experience he wants to, good, bad, or indifferent. Let him in there and let him go. But you can't lose the game because guys can't cover guys.
Just let him play well.
Yeah.
Whoever's going to play the best out there, that's who you need to throw out there.
You get all the experience you want, but if it's negative experience, that doesn't do your team any good.
Yeah. A number of stats, that you can look at from last year to this year that just don't tell a great story of this 2025 football team. Last year, Texas had 64 PBUs as a secondary, right? This year, through 10 games, 2 games left, they have 32. So they're just not, like you said, attacking the football.
They're not aggressive, no.
They're moving far away. This stat right there is case in point, proving exactly what you thought.
Soft in the secondary.
Yeah, you rest your case, you're on it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So we'll see about this Texas defense. Again, the Arkansas offense, they've been good this year. Talon Green, let's talk about him a little bit. Texas obviously saw him last year in the Longhorns' 20-10 victory in Fayetteville. The Texas defense did a really good job at keeping him in check in that one. Talon Green, a big body, 6'6", 225 pounds, from the state of Texas, up in Louisville, part of the Metro.
Loving Vince Young.
Grew up a huge Vince Young fan. That's why he wears the number 10. Credits be why. He is hot and cold, like a motel shower. But he makes a lot of mistakes. I don't know if I've already made this joke this week. I think I have. He will give you the football. At least he will try to give you the football the way Auntie tries to give you green bean casserole on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's not very good. Do I have to have it?
Let's try it anyway.
Like Auntie, this guy's a freak athlete. 9 yards per carry. If you take out the sack yardage, Talon Green is averaging an incredible 9 yards a carry. Even with sacks, he's ran for 719 yards and 7 touchdowns this year. We'll get to the in a moment, but it's the legs that make Taylor Green a tough guard.
It's like Vince Young when he strides and runs. He's long-legged and he can get it out there and he can go. He can pick him up and lay him down. He's really a talented runner.
Yeah.
And you have to get him on the ground. And he doesn't give up that easy. He wants to be a running back when he's in the open field. He doesn't shy away from contact. He'll get after it, BK. He'll get after your secondary. He doesn't mind going against 190-pound secondary guys, 5'9" cornerbacks. That's fine with him.
I don't mind going up against 300-pound D linemen. Like you said, I mean, he will run through contact. He
Yes.
break tackles too.
Yes, he will.
Like he's a great yards after contact guy, which for most quarterbacks, it's like they're sliding, they're running out of bounds, or the first guy brings them down. That's not what Taylor Green's about.
A lot of times defensively, I look at teams and I'm like, don't make that quarterback get fidgety. Don't let him get going because I don't want him breaking containment and running around. This one, I think you need to make him be fidgety. You can't let him sit in a pocket and make him move around a little bit, get him off his spot, make him think about running because you got talented enough athletes to run with him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you're always going to bring him down, but you got guys that can catch up to him and get to him. I don't like him feeling comfortable in the pocket and thinking he can throw the ball down the field. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, there's one play, there were a bunch of plays, but one that really sticks out from the Georgia game last week. It was very early on. It was just a zone read, and Gunnar Stockton kept it, ran along the left side, picked up like 15 yards. I mean, that's what Arkansas is all about. It's not just like, scrambles, Taylor Green's going to drop back to pass, and then he'll go. He's great. But that's Bobby Petrino, too. Like, he's done that. I mean, he was Lamar Jackson's head coach when Lamar was at Louisville.
That's right.
Right? And then Lamar won Heisman basically with QB1 as a huge part of the offense. So Texas is going to have to be buttoned up front because they are going to run Taylor Green a ton.
Yeah, I mean, that's a part of their offense. That's a part of what they feel like they have to do to win this game. They're not going to have him just drop back and be a pocket passer today. They got to pull out all stops. And as I said, they have nothing to lose. Anything that any trick play, look out, Texas, because you are susceptible to trick plays, as we do know. They're going to do today. Today, it's a beautiful day to do it. There's no rain. There's nothing in the forecast that tells you that you can't try everything that you practice, every little trick play that you've done, everything that you've been trying to do all year long that you haven't done. You bring it out today.
I thought Georgia would be that game. That it was Georgia doing that to Texas.
It was the other way around.
Yeah, it was.
It's like what a smart coach would do: onside kick you after scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
That they didn't need to onside kick it; they could just come out and play defense. So when you're least expecting it, when you should be expecting it, and by the way, we practiced that onside kick.
That's what we were told.
Yeah.
I don't think they did.
No.
That is what we were told after the game.
No, when 10 or 9 guys turn their back and start running back to the receivers receiving the ball, you haven't worked on that long enough.
UTSD's kicking in.
Yes.
You're bringing all this up.
It's coming back to me.
Yeah.
Well, look for Arkansas to do some things like that's how they feel like they can be in the game.
I mean, look at this comment on the Clean Cause YouTube comments line. We'll tell you all about Clean Cause in a moment. How about this? Arkansas fan checking in. I hate Texas more than I love the Razorbacks.
That's pretty bad.
Also, I pay attention to 2 times as much about Texas as I do Arkansas. That's how much I hate them. That is next level hatred right there. So this Arkansas team, again, they're 2-8. They've already fired their coach. They'd have every reason to say, why do we even care about this? We're on to 2026.
Yeah, where's our new coach?
The entire state. And Bobby Petrino, it's not like, you're normally a coach, like maybe he's been on the staff for a year or two and he doesn't really know. Bobby Petrino's been a head coach in Arkansas.
He wants a job again.
All about the Arkansas-Texas hatred. He also knows what happened the last time he coached here in Austin. Things did not go very well for him. I think they're going to be locked up, buttoned up, ready to go. But to your point, they're going to pull out a bunch of stops today. They got nothing really to lose. They're not making a bowl game. The coach is probably not going to keep his job regardless. They are going to be trying all sorts of stuff.
How can we have explosive plays and to get them and to trick them into special teams? It's wide open for them. They've got to use everything at their disposal. They need to use to try to win this football game, and I think they will today.
Absolutely. All right, Buck. Have a word for our friends at
Clean Cause, folks. They got this wonderful yerba mate drink that's absolutely delicious, and they give 50% back of their profits back into helping folks in rehab, whether it's drug addiction or alcohol addiction. They give back. They've been giving back in the state of Texas for years, and now they're moving out to national. They want to be nationally known as a group that understands people that have addiction problems, and they want to do everything they can to help. and their drink is delicious. And you can go anywhere in this state and find it. Any gas station, any HEB, 7-Elevens, they're all over the place. I've noticed that 30 years ago when I came, that Clean Cause was starting to get it going. And now they're trying to crank up their cause all over the country. And that is fantastic for everybody involved to help out folks in addiction, whether it be alcohol or drug addiction.
Yeah, better ingredients, less sugar.
Less sugar for sure.
Perfect amount of caffeine. Clean Cause fuels your day. And like you said, they also do so much for addiction.
Yes, they do.
As well. Love Clean Cause. All right. More on, you know what, let's do our defensive player of the game prediction. And we'll kind of jump back into the Arkansas offense and some of the other weapons that they have besides their quarterback, Talon Green. Defensive player of the game prediction brought to you by Kenfield Golf Cars. We'll talk more about them here in a moment. Buck, as always, you have the floor.
PK, I'm thinking that this is a game. I don't know if Anthony Hill's going to play or not. We really don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out at game time. But I got to believe this is a great opportunity. And the guy who's really come on as the season, just like he did last year, as the season went on, was Trey Moore. I think this is a game. I think we see him show up at a lot of different positions and really have an impact in this football game for the defense. So
I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to pick him. I like the way he played last year at the end of the season, and I think he's been doing enough things during the course of the season that he can have a standout game, and I think this is going to be his standout game.
Yeah, within the last 20 minutes, Anthony Hill has been ruled out of today's game. So he's in the host.
That thing hurts.
Dealing with a reported broken bone that he suffered in the fourth quarter, at Georgia. Questionable on Wednesday's injury report, questionable again on Thursday, doubtful last night, and he has been downgraded to completely out today.
Yeah, that's what the doctors, and that's probably what Ann Hill's saying. You know what? This hurts too much, dude.
Yeah, so with
He'll play next week.
Right.
Give himself another week.
I think that's the plan here, and
It's the plan.
Texas hoping that they can get by this Arkansas team without their stud in the middle of the defense.
And miss him because that guy can run.
Yeah, well, Arkansas can run too.
Yeah, I mean, they'll miss him defending not only the regular running backs, but defending the quarterbacks too.
Yeah.
So whoever's taking his spot, as I said, Trey Moore's going to be in a lot of different areas, I think, today. He's got to really play well.
I think it's imperative for Trey Moore, Liam and Anthony Smith
Yes.
to all have maybe their best games of the season. Sure. Because you know how much you're losing without Ants on the field. So that is a big loss for Texas. Defensive player of the game. I'm going to go off the beaten path here. A guy I talked about yesterday, and Victor actually just commented his name. I'm going to go with the Arkansas transfer, Brad Spence.
There you go.
Who hasn't played a ton this year, but he has really made the most of his opportunities. I know he's more of an edge than an off-ball linebacker, but a guy who was an off-ball linebacker at Arkansas last season.
He understands how the quarterback runs and what he does.
Exactly. He knows his offense. He knows Taylor. He knows. And I think you can put him off the ball if you want. You can line him up off the edge if you want. He's a versatile player who, again, has made the most of his limited opportunities this season. He's going to have a bigger role today. I think number 14, Brad Spence, ends up with
interesting.
He's going to have today.
Yeah, he does. He understands what the offense is about. He understands some of the small keys that go along, whether the quarterback he gives or keeps. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going with Brad Spence today. Both of us going with linebackers, if you will,
Yes.
as our defensive player of the game. Brought to you by Kenfield Golf Cars. We're back, so are they. Bunch of Kenfield Golf Carts rolling around.
Absolutely. I saw them when I first came in early.
Yeah, they are all over the place. We love Kenfield Golf Cars. They've been proudly serving Central Texas since 1979. Just do a Google search. 4.9 stars on Google, over 250 reviews. That's hard to do. That's how you know Kenfield is doing the job right. So if you and your family are in the market for a new or pre-owned golf cart, Kenfield does better than anybody else. They've got incredible selection. They've got the best people. It's who the University of Texas trusts for their golf cart rentals. Again, you don't have to buy. If you just want to rent for a big event that you have coming up, maybe a big holiday party.
If you're in a golf tournament and you don't have enough golf cars at your event, you need to rent some. They're the folks you want to go to.
Great call right there. And if you already have a golf cart, you want to upgrade it, Kenfield can do all of that for you. All you have to do is go out and see them. KenfieldGolfCars.com for more information, or you can give them a call, let them know what you're looking for. 512-258-8515. Kenfield Golf Cars, the absolute best at what they do.
You know, BK, when we talk about these MVPs on defense, this defensive line has been MVP all year long. They really have. Like I said, for 2 years in a row, I was just waiting. When is this thing when is when are the chips not going to fall the way of Texas? They continue to fall the way of Texas, picking the right people to play on the defensive line. I mean, for back to back and now back years, that's incredible. That's hard to do. It's hard to do on a consistent basis at major college level. You know, things all of a sudden you'll have a drop off. The linebackers will be real good. The defensive line will be so. But this defensive line has been really, really good for 3 straight years.
Yeah, Texas went to the portal.
Wow.
You know, a lot of Longhorn fans are upset, rightfully so, about the lack of attention to some positions. But Texas, knowing how much they lost on the defensive line, they went out and brought in 5 defensive linemen.
Man.
And those guys have made a tremendous impact this year. And the D-line's going to have to be great today. I would be saying that even if Ant Hill was playing. With that sort of security blanket, if you will, right behind them, the D-line's got to win up front. Absolutely. And Arkansas has a very good run-blocking offensive line. Not great in pass pro at all. But they are second in the SEC in rushing offense this year. They are 6th in the country in yards per carry as a team. So they've got some maulers, some road graders, if you will, up front. The Texas defensive line, they cannot get first around. Because, Arkansas is going to establish the run game.
Like everybody else tries.
Everybody else. And they know how bad their defense is. So they establish the run game. Arch Manning on the sideline. It's going to be on the Texas run defense to keep Arkansas behind the chains to ensure. So the D-line, I think, is going to be very, very important.
In some of those battles, you are going to win, but you can't let them win the battle with the quarterback escaping. He's going to get his. He's going to have a few plays that they're going to woo the crowd. I mean, that's just how he plays.
Yeah.
But he can't have a bunch of them. You can't let that guy just run loose.
No, and the game plan can't just be, contain him.
Oh, no.
Let's just wait, sit back, and when he runs, we'll attack.
Let them have 4 yards, 5 yards a clip in the regular run game. No, you can't do that either.
Right, and here's another reason why the defensive line is so important today. Taylon Green, from a clean pocket, throwing the football, 71% completion percentage, 10 yards per attempt. When he's pressured, 34% completion percentage, 4.4 yards per attempt.
Yeah, this would be the game that, when we talk about start doing things with the defense and being a part of everything, this would be the kind of game that you would love to have somebody else calling the plays, and your head coach is a part of the game plan on defense also.
Yeah.
No?
Sark won't do that.
No, I mean, he's not going to. This is the part of, what we were talking about earlier. This is the kind of game that he should be involved in, that kind of stuff. When you really need another, somebody that's been around, trying to beat defenses, this is the guy that you need to be in your defensive staff. I mean, the head coaches aren't just offensive geniuses. Those guys are pretty smart when it comes to defense because they see all the defense. This is where you wish he were doing that too. He's not going to today, but
right.
He's going to let PK do everything he's been doing. So
that's the thing. Like PK, we believe is one of the best defensive coordinators in the sport, but his defense has had some problems in recent weeks. So coaches are problem solvers.
That's right.
There's some problems back there. It's on PK and the entire staff, right? Johnny Nansen, Kenny Baker, Dwayne Aquina, Mark Orfeh, all of those guys.
This comes down to the head guy. You're the decision maker. Sorry. I know you got all these other guys doing these things for you, but when it comes to the real decisions, that's on you.
Right. Yeah. The Texas defense has to play better today.
Absolutely.
And, look, we're talking about Arkansas's run game. That is their strength of their offense, but they would be foolish to not take some shots down the field against this Texas secondary, wouldn't they?
Oh, they will.
And they do that. And Taylon Green, the good news for Texas, he's tied for the SEC lead with 10 interceptions. So he'll give you some opportunities at some takeaways, which early on Texas was doing a great job of that. As of late, not so much. This could be a great opportunity for the Longhorns to get some short fields for their offense.
You've got to make it so he doesn't build any confidence during the course of the game. You got to come out to a fast start. When we talk about fast starts, that's offense and defense and your special team. All of that stuff has to be going today.
You're right, absolutely. And some good news for Texas. We're talking about Anthony Hill being out. Arkansas's number 2 running back will not play in this game.
Okay.
Braylon Russell is his name. He's 240 pounds, Buck. Now, Arkansas's number 1 is 230 pounds. And you talk about thunder and thunder. It ain't thunder and lightning.
Wow.
They usually can bring in a 240-pound back. There's more of their short yardage guy. Braylon Russell will not be playing today. So it's a bit of a short-handed Arkansas rushing attack.
Yeah, once again, I don't mind the big back against this defense. These guys get off the blocks, and they're big. They're pretty big guys on that defensive front as it is. So
Mike Washington, by the way, 230 pounds. He could scoot.
Wow.
913 rushing yards, 6.5 yards per carry. He's got 7 touchdowns. He's been one of the better runners in the ACC.
What's going on right here?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Texas is the worst rushing team in the conference. So, like, statistically speaking, the answer is yes.
Wow.
I wish it wasn't, but that is the truth. So, big test for Texas. And again, big test for the Texas defensive line going up against what has been a very solid Arkansas offensive line in terms of blocking for the run.
What I don't see is Arkansas being smart enough to try things like kick the ball to the corner, kick it away from from Niblett. I think they just kick the ball and run down and cover today. That's, unless you got a great punter, great kicker, you don't try specialty things like coffin corners and hit it, knock it out at the 10. You just punt the ball and go cover. And I got a feeling that, we saw a great punter last week.
Yeah.
But they're not cornering. They're just kicking the ball and going to cover, which is a good thing for Texas, because that's one of the best things they do is return punts.
Right. We'd love to see Ryan Niblett
Oh,
make an
that'd be
impact
great
in this
today.
game. Yeah, I mean, he's been such a difference maker for the Longhorns. It feels like some teams have caught on, finally.
Yeah.
It's been a while since he scored a touchdown. We'll say that tongue in cheek. We have Ryan Niblett, who did have a 50-plus yard punt return last week against Georgia. Was called back by one of the many penalties that Texas had. He did get an opportunity, kind of, and he made the most of it. So feels like teams are trying to kick it to Niblett less, but Georgia even tried it last week, and they almost got run for it.
Yes, they
So
did.
if Arkansas makes that mistake, more power to them. I hope they do.
Well, I'm hoping that Texas has something up their sleeve, too, in the special teams.
What are you thinking?
Punt block today
Calling it?
at home, yes.
Okay.
Just go get one. You're talking about demoralizing a team. This team needs to be demoralized. They're already demoralized. They've won 2 games. Let them think that they're going to have a good game here and get them into special teams. Let your special teams win the game today.
That'd be great.
Wouldn't that be something special?
It would be.
The special teams look really, really good today.
Yeah, and Arkansas has just been an average special teams unit this year. Kickers missed 3 field goals. The punter's pretty solid, but they don't have a ton in the return game. Texas does have the on-paper edge in that third phase. And, last week, too many bad things happened in special teams.
Amazing.
A lot of
Too many
penalties.
things have happened bad all year in special teams except for the punt return.
Right. Obviously, the onside kick was a freaking disaster. Texas cleaning some things up in the third department would be a good thing. What about a fake punt for the Texas punt team?
That'd be kind of fun.
What about an onside kick for the Longhorns? Can we try something like that? Are we into that kind of stuff?
Maybe if you score first, if you score early and then do it.
How about that? You got a 7-0 lead, and then he's trying to off the
Yeah, if you do it early.
I'm sure if it doesn't work, the crowd will be very understanding.
Yeah, they will. They got it.
They will
As
do.
long as you take care of your business the rest of the way.
That's fine. I guess you're right. The Texas defense, though, going back to that again, Buck, they have given up 34.7 points per game in their last 3 weeks. That ranks 114th in the country in that time span, giving up more than 400 yards per game.
A lot of yards.
What's sort of, it's a little disappointing, but Texas over the last couple of years, they've bent at times defensively, but it feels like they don't break very often. They've bowed up in the red zone. I mean, how many big goal line stands has Texas had these last couple of seasons? They're giving up 91% of red zone scores in the last 3 games. That is the 101st in the country. So they are breaking a lot, and then the dam is also breaking
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
So that's one of those things where, okay, it's all good for football. Again, they moved the ball a lot this year. They're 3rd in the conference in total yardage. But can you bow up in the red area, hold them to 3? I do think this game could turn into a shootout today with the way both defenses are playing. Obviously, you want to hold them to 0, but if you can hold them to 3, I don't think that's a horrible thing for this Texas defense. Can you bow up when you absolutely need to? Something the Longhorns couldn't do against Georgia a week ago. Would like to see it this afternoon.
I mean, when you got the quarterback who can escape like he does, and he'll be looking to throw it, and as you said, he'll give you an opportunity also. He'll have a couple overthrows while he's running around. You got to take advantage of that. And if they get down there in the scoring zone, you give them 3, okay. We got that, but you can't give them 6. You can't give up a bunch of 6-point, touchdowns to this team. You can give up a few field goals, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because you expect what you're going to get is you're going to get it back with your offense against their defense for sure.
Yeah, there's another bit of sound from Steve Sarkisian here. He was asked about the confidence level that he has in his team, that his guys are going to be able to bounce back following the disappointment at Georgia.
Oh, I feel very confident in our team. And so that they can do that. Again, I thought we had a great meeting this morning. I think young people are really resilient in general. And I think when you give them a platform to be resilient, that they'll do that. I think them understanding there is a light at the end of the tunnel here if we can handle our business and do it the right way. And so, like anything in life, when there's hope, we can strive a little further and stay on task with what we need to do. But again, this group gives me no reason that they won't do that. But again, time will tell, right? I'm not going to sit here and make any guarantees if we don't have the ability to do that. But I'm confident that we can. We'll see over the next 4 or 5 days how we do.
More people are resilient too when they're coached well. So I'll just tell you that. So it
You
doesn't.
think you're resilient? If you were coached well, you think you'd be good?
Absolutely. So I've got my coach in my house that coaches me all the time, so I'm pretty resilient. But young people are resilient when they do the things that they are told to do in coaching. When they believe in what you're saying, that's when they're resilient. They'll bounce back to that. But they continue to have failures and you continue to coach the same way, that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
That becomes a huge problem. They'll bounce back. They can always bounce back. But what do? You can't bounce back and fail again.
I will say this in the defense of Texas. Again, I know this season hasn't started the way that any Longhorn fan wants, but Texas lost its first game to Ohio State,
Yes.
bounced back and won 3 in a row. It's cupcakes, but 3-game winning streak.
Right.
They lost that game to Florida. They bounced back with 4 in a row. Okay. They lost to Georgia. They have shown the first 2 times they have lost, they've been able to bounce back and put together a nice win streak.
Bouncing back against this group.
I hope it's a multiple game win streak.
Absolutely.
Not to overlook Arkansas by any stretch, but
No.
Texas, they've been able to put losses behind them and bounce back with wins. So you would like to see that happen again today.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no excuse for you not to play well today. I mean, there's too much at stake. It's too nice a day. I mean, you look for these kind of days as a football player. Your fans are already looking forward to it. Give your fans something to get excited about today.
Yeah.
You did that against Vandy. You did that. You almost let that slip away from you. But you started out with your hair on fire, and everybody in the stadium knew that you meant business that day. Even if you gave some things up later in the game, you beat a number 10 team in the nation, top 10 team. You got an opportunity to beat a team right now that's down and out looking to find out who their coach is going to be for next year. You got players going to play hard, but they're playing for who they're playing for.
Yeah.
They're playing for the University of Arkansas, but they're not playing for a coach that's been with them all year. They're playing for an interim coach and wondering what their outcome and their future is going to be. Man, put them in doubt all day today.
These guys are also playing for money.
There they are.
Let's call a spade, right? Whether it's from Arkansas or from somebody else.
Somebody else will pay you.
Yeah, I mean, these guys want to win. These guys are all competitive, and Arkansas is going to bring it today. I feel like, and I know a lot of Arkansas players are from the state of Texas, sure, but a lot of them are from the state of Arkansas too. And I just feel like during your freshman orientation at Arkansas, they're like, here's the dining hall, here are the classrooms. We hate Texas. Those are the 3 things that happen in Arkansas. So, like, I am a little worried from the standpoint of, like, Texas fans don't care about Arkansas as much as Arkansas fans care about Texas. True. This is their Super Bowl. So, you're Texas. You don't have to treat it like that, but you can't treat it as like, they're 2-8, this game doesn't matter. They could give you something today.
Well, of course they want to win. I mean, they
lost to A&M by 3. They lost to Ole Miss in Oxford by 6. They lost to Tennessee in Knoxville by 3.
Oh, no, it's been good games. They've had opportunities to win those games. They just haven't. And so you got to keep them on that streak of not winning those games.
Right.
Make sure that they don't. But once again, this is a Texas team that's not only looking for a win, but they're looking for style points today.
Got to.
It will be important if you want to really continue and move along and get an opportunity that A&M game means something next week. You have to beat this group, and it can't be a field goal win. It can't be, oh boy, our secondary let him come back, but we still held on to win the game. I mean, Sark can tell us that he's such and such in the conference on Monday. That may not mean shit to the guys in the committee. They may go, sorry, coach, we don't care how you came back and this is a win for you. They won't care.
You won by 3 against.
No, they won't care.
Now 2-9 Arkansas.
They will not care at all.
We are out on that. Yeah, you want to have a pumpkin pie and you want to eat it too.
Absolutely.
With the Thanksgiving this week. Absolutely this week. So you want to win, but obviously you want a very impressive win. You brought up the college football playoff rankings. Steve Sarkisian was asked a couple of days ago, if he addresses that, right? Is that something that you guys talked about this week, or is your focus solely on these final 2 games? Here's what Coach Sark had to say.
I did not. We addressed kind of where we were on Monday morning and what it was going to take. And I think that the message is control what we can control. And what we can control is what's right in front of us. And that's Arkansas this week at 2:30. Let's stay focused on the task at hand and quiet the noise and make sure that we're doing the work necessary on a daily basis to put ourselves in the best position to have some success Saturday. And so, as always, those things take care of themselves. We've got to take care of our business and control what we can control.
That it's all about the noise. I've heard that numerous times.
Yeah.
I hear it from head coaches. It's all about the noise. Well, yeah, it's important to the players to just focus on one game at a time, one practice at a time. That all the cliches that you want to throw out there, they have to perform at a high level, no matter who you play. And this will be an important game if they want to continue on. They hear it outside.
Yeah.
Believe me, they know it. They go back and turn the TV on. They see and they hear it. And just like they hear the head coach and rumors that he was maybe ready to leave or whatever. Don't think that that's in-house and those players outside of that building don't hear it too.
Yeah.
Sark, yeah, they're not kids. They understand. They're adults. They go see it and they hear it. So trying to, control what you can control. The noise is going to be there no matter what you do. It's Texas. You're going to get noise.
Well, that's it. I mean, we all know the scenario, right? We know Texas needs to win these 2 games. We know Texas needs a lot of help to have a shot to get into the field. You can't control what happens to BYU or Utah or Oklahoma or any of these teams. You can control what you do. Now, look, maybe Texas blows out A&M and they still don't make it. Well, that's what happens when you lose 3 games. That's how it goes. But obviously, if you lose one of these final 2 games, then you'll have 0 arguments.
Anything you say about what you could have, should have, or would have done, it won't matter if you don't win this game.
Ifs and nuts and candies and
It
bugs.
won't matter.
If my aunt had nuts, she'd be my own.
That's right. And it won't matter.
It's what my first grade teacher taught.
Correct.
Classic childhood riddle. All right, we got about 20 minutes left in our pregame show. Perfect time to get to the Bucks 3 keys to victory. Brought to you by our great friends at St. Patrick.
Love
What
St.
today,
Patrick.
Buck.
Number 1, fast start, BK.
Yeah.
Fast start for the fans and for your team, and be aggressive along with that fast start on offense or defense. The second, number 2 for me is don't be dumb.
Okay.
Please, don't be dumb. Play with confidence, and that means the penalties, the P word. Let's not have a bunch of penalties. You're at home.
Yeah.
Your coaches should understand they need to talk to the guys in the stripes. Let them know that group over there is 2 and whatever, and they hold a lot.
They had 18 penalties in the game.
Forget they had 18 penalties in the game, so you can't be the dumb ones out there today. And then stop the run by the running backs and the quarterbacks of Arkansas. I think offensively, Texas will take care of the things that they have to. Once again, I'll be totally surprised about the run game. I know you're picking Trey Wiseman to have a great game.
Yeah.
But I want to be surprised today. If it happens, I'll be on Monday. I'll talk about how great the run game is and really they got it going on. But let me be surprised at that. But you got to stop the run today.
So start fast.
Yes.
Don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb.
Stop the run.
Stop the run. Yeah.
I like those keys.
Don't be dumb. Please don't be dumb today.
We're pretty dumb.
I know.
You and I, but also the Texas football team. We're all pretty dumb this year.
Yes. This is the dumbest year I've ever. This is the dumbest year.
3 straight games with 9 penalties for the Longhorns.
Don't put a number. Don't try to put a number on that. Hey, don't put baby in the corner here with the number.
Now, baby's in the corner right now. And again, there's only been 1 game all year where the Longhorns have committed fewer penalties than their opponent. That was the Oklahoma game, which I think every Longhorn fan agrees was the best game of the year for Texas.
Yes.
Only 4 penalties accepted. OU had 5, so it's not like Texas won that in a landslide. Texas still ranks dead last in the conference, by the way, in opponent penalty yards. So we're not getting a very favorable whistle.
Yeah, make those dudes hold you.
But also, most of the penalties that have been called on Texas, they're penalties on Texas.
Oh, yeah, not for real.
You got to call the Colin Simmons offsides on 4th and 5.
The illegal procedures by the punt team, it's right there. They jump, they move.
You got to call some of the runs and blocking the backs. It's like they show the replay and you want to pitch and moan, and it's like, no, there's a lot of jersey there.
Number 24 does it a lot.
Number 24, if he's on the field, I assume it's on him. You don't even need to give me a number. You can just if it's a penalty on Texas, Warren Roberson's on.
About that. Roberson, not your son, but he holds a lot.
Yeah, hopefully you hold him more accountable at home than Steve Sarkisian does, because apparently the guy can commit every penalty he wants and he'll still play every Saturday. I don't get that. But yeah, you got a number. Do you have a number for Texas from a penalty standpoint? I know we do this exercise every week, and we're usually left disappointed.
8. I'm going to be smart. I'm not going to be dumb. How about this? 8.
That's not your key. This is what you think.
8 penalties, yes.
They're averaging 8.2.
Okay.
So I guess that would be below the season average.
So I'm going to take below the season average with 8 penalties. I'll be okay. I'm not going to be okay, but I'm not going to be foolish because I don't want to be dumb. Like I'm saying 5 or 6.
Can we get to 6? Can we get to 6? I know we can't.
Be dumb.
Yeah.
You're going to be dumb.
I'll take 6.
Okay.
I mean, those coaches are like, dude, 6? That's too many. This team, 6 would be, I think, tied for their second fewest all year.
I'm going to say 8.
All right.
I expect that punt team to jump or do something. I expect the All-American to jump off sides because he's trying to beat the snap count to get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
There's 2. I expect 2 illegal procedures. I mean, I just expect that 1 holding.
Hey, don't be dumb.
Just don't be
We
dumb.
might expect it, but don't do it.
Yeah.
Prove us wrong, please.
Please this week, prove us wrong.
That's what we were looking for
I'm only
today.
giving you 8. I'm giving you what you're close to being dumb anyway. So
Yeah.
I'll give you 8 penalties.
It'd be nice if Texas could play a clean game today, play ahead of the chains, and not get, a key that I wrote down for me, not to steal your thunder here, Buck, but getting off the field on 3rd down, I think is key.
For sure.
Arkansas, again, you look at like every stat on offense, they are very good, including 3rd down conversion percentage. They are 3rd in the SEC in 3rd down offense. Texas is pretty good for the most part. Now, as of late, not so good, but usually they are good at getting off the field. The problem is even 3rd and longs have been converted against this Texas defense lately.
Wow.
How about this stat? In the last 3 games, Buck, Texas has given up 28 completions of 15 or more yards.
And forget it if it's 3rd and 10 because they'll be back there at 15 yards.
Right. And 5 of those 28 have gone for 30-plus yards. So Arkansas, they are an explosive offense. They're top 5 in the SEC in pass completions of 20-plus and 30-plus. So who take their shots? They've got some playmakers, and Texas has just not been keeping stuff in front of them defensively.
You've got to be aggressive. You've got to be aggressive and go after this quarterback and make him get rid of the ball.
Right.
And you take advantage of that.
That's a big key.
Yeah.
Just you can't give up the explosive plays through the air. Taylor Green's going to take his shots. He is not scared of anything. He should be more scared than he is because he throws it to the other team too much. He's going to give you some chances. Take advantage of him.
Yeah, I got to see PK get after this quarterback.
Oh, man.
From all different angles today.
Confuse him.
Yeah.
I know he's a senior, but he looks like he's a freshman when there's pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a big key there, too. All right, Bucky's 3 keys to victory brought to you by Sue Patrick.
Love Sue Patrick. 5222 Vernon Road. All your Longhorn apparel. It is there. Free parking and plenty of parking spaces at 5222 Vernon Road. Pick up a jelly cat for the holiday season. 2. Pick up 2. Bartholomew Bear is awaiting you.
Yeah.
We'll see Bartholomew. Hopefully Bartholomew will be gone. The big sun is gone. The $1,000 Jellycat sun is gone. But they've got everything. All the gear, all the hats, all the shirts, all the polos. I mean, it is now time for a little long sleeve possibly for golf. This is the place to get it.
You're rocking one today.
Yes, indeed. It looks good and it feels good when you're out there on the golf course. Oh, wait, I'm cold today.
Inside or outside?
I'm cold. I went outside this morning in a short sleeve shirt. I ran back inside to get this little. That's how I need it to be 95 or 110.
74 degrees.
It's freezing out.
Oh my God! I guess compared to what it has been,
Oh my goodness.
it's still pretty cold. But they got that gear at Sue Patrick.
Patrick.com for more information.
They outfit us with all of the
Yeah.
for all of these shows. We're repping Patrick stuff all the time on our daily show as well. The best selection of Longhorn gear.
By the way, we'll see you folks there next Friday.
We'll be here and for next Friday. St. Patrick Friday morning, and then in Scholz Garten for our pregame show Friday afternoon.
I can't wait till somebody comes up to us in the pregame show. Like, I just bought this gear from Sue Patrick this morning when you were there.
That'll be great.
That's awesome.
Need a lot of that. And we've got to rep Texas proud with all those Aggie fans coming in.
And they'll be tons of.
Oh my God. We've seen a lot of red here today. Decent showing of Arkansas fans so far.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
A&M is not 2-8.
no,
No, and it's a little shorter of a trip, I guess, too, for
no, they will be here.
they will be here. So don't sell your tickets.
Please don't.
I know people will, and I shouldn't tell people how to spend their own money, but try to sell them to some Longhorn fans if you can, please. We don't want those losers coming in here.
Oh, I can't wait.
They're fake.
Let's get this thing done with.
They're guy cheerleaders.
Let's get this thing done with today in the right way.
That would be nice to see. Yeah, get some confidence again.
Yeah, I mean, make this committee say, you know what? This team has been up and down this year, but they're playing in the SEC, and they played some really tough opponents. They beat a couple top 10 teams. You know what? They deserve to be in it.
Yeah.
I don't need to be seeing Tulane. Maybe the Mean Green. I'm going to give them the Mean Green now.
Texas?
Now, I'm going to give them some credit.
Hang on, I'm trying to get UNT in the field. They won't be taking Texas's spot. It'll be somebody in a Power 4 conference that would be keeping us.
Let's see Mean Green get in there. They deserve to be in there. They played really some good football the last couple of years.
Quick shout out to Waterloo Printing and Graphics, by the way. Speaking of our gear, this beautiful sign behind us.
Absolutely.
All of the koozies that intern girlfriend have been giving out to. Got the TSU all made by Adam and his great team at Waterloo Printing and Graphics. If you've got a business that needs merch, if you have a big holiday party coming up, big maybe fall graduation coming up, you want to get some shirts, some stickers, some koozies, whatever.
Yeah, get ready for your golf tour in the springtime.
Bingo.
Call on Adam, get the hats done.
512-300-9641. That's Adam's direct line. If he doesn't answer you today, it's because he's getting drunk watching the game at DKR. We'll get back to you very soon, though. Big Longhorn fan, big TSU supporter. All right, real quick before we do our raffle drawing for the free pair of Ariat boots that we're giving away. Also, we'll give our game score prediction as well here in the final 10 minutes of our pregame show at Scholz Garten. One more quick scoreboard update powered by my friends at Gobundance. Not a lot of chaos going on right now. Oklahoma still on top of Missouri in a game that means a lot to Texas. The Sooners lead the Tigers 17-6 going to the fourth quarter in Norman. Oklahoma's got the ball. Seems like they're going to find a victory there. A&M 41, Samford 0. Buck, you were hoping for 100. I don't think we'll get there.
We'll get to 50. They'll try to put 50 on them.
8 minutes, 53 seconds.
Yeah, try to get to 50.
Regulation there. Ohio State taking care of Rutgers. Miami taking care of
Ohio State is going to take over Rutgers. We stole all their coaches.
Nobody left to coach their team. So they're in trouble. What else do we have? Miami all over Virginia Tech. Georgia all over Charlotte. Alabama all over Eastern Illinois. Not a lot of huge games today. There are a couple, though. Oregon, USC, top 15 matchup. That's where College Game Day was this morning.
BYU plays tonight, do they not?
BYU plays at Cincinnati tonight.
Okay.
You need to be rooting for the teams in both of those games.
Yes.
You want Oregon to take out USC. You want Cincinnati to take out BYU from playoff contention. You would love for Syracuse to beat Notre Dame.
That's not happening.
That's not going to happen. You would love Kansas State to beat Utah.
It's not happening either.
And you would love... What else would we love? Oh, Pitt to beat Georgia Tech.
And that's not happening.
That's not happening either.
Pitt didn't play last week. They showed up, but they didn't play.
Yeah, they didn't care about beating Notre Dame.
No, they did not.
They don't care about these two ACC.
One of the worst coaching sayings I've ever heard of all time in my coaching life or being around coaching.
Ken Arduzzi is like a very poor man's James Franklin.
That was just the most horrible thing to say to his team.
Disaster.
And they performed that way, too. What's crazy is that team last week at Pitt, when he said it doesn't matter if they beat us by 100, his team went out and performed the same exact way the head coach was talking.
Of course, they all call wind of that.
Firing that too.
Yeah, I know the players aren't at those coaches' press conferences, but come on, everybody in that locker room heard what Pat Narduzzi said, and they sort of played like it too.
Yes, they did.
So we'll see. Those are some of the other big games coming up on the college football slate. Again, a lot of hate watching today. If you're a Longhorn fan, sure. Obviously, you're focused on what happens at DKR in a little more than 30 minutes, but you're also looking around the country to see what goes on with some of the other teams for sure. The 10 to 20 range in the college football playoff rankings. Our scoreboard updates, once again, powered by our great friends at Gobundance. Gobundance.com/TSU. That's the fraternity. That is the brotherhood that you have been looking for. All right. Get to our game score predictions.
Okay.
We can talk about these for a while here. Game score predictions brought to you by Paul's Motor Works. We'll tell you a little bit more about them in a moment. Buck, you have the honors first, Mike.
I like to think that Texas could shut this group out, but that secondary over the last couple of weeks and giving up some points here in the fourth quarter. I think they'll give up some points again today.
Okay.
But they won't give up enough points. I think Texas wins 35-24.
Okay. So a Texas win and a Texas cover.
Yeah, because I think Arch Manning's going to have a heck of a day. Ryan Wingo's going to make some catches and going to make some big things happen. They're going to get some guys loose in the secondary besides Ryan Wingo for long passes. I think you see some explosive plays. And unlike you, I'm going to be surprised at the run game. I want to have a early Christmas present over the next 2 weeks when it comes to this run game. I'm not going to predict what they're going to do, because if they don't do it, it won't be like, oh, I'm surprised that they didn't rush for this at Arkansas. I just haven't seen enough of it this year, and they just don't have the runner right now.
They're averaging 71.7 yards a game in the SEC. And we talked about it this week. Not only is that 16th place out of 16 teams in the SEC, they are 26 yards away from 15th place.
Wow.
So they're not even close to anybody when it comes to running the football in SEC games. Their overall numbers a little better because they ran it okay against Ohio State. They obviously ran it pretty well against the crappy non-conference teams that they played. But since SEC play has gotten here, it's been really an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, I just don't see that changing until the offseason.
Yeah.
They're making some changes in some different areas. So
Crazy. Steve Sarkisian. This running
more so than anything is he knows what a good runner looks like. He knows who the next best thing is if he's not the starter or the third best running back. He hasn't seemed to find out who that person is on this team. I mean, they just may not have one.
Yeah.
It's more so than anything. It looks that way. They don't have that kind of runner, but he's used to it. So he knows what a good running back looks like.
Either they trust CJ Baxter too much or they just don't trust any of the other guys they have behind CJ.
Well, they should have known coming off that knee injury that's a hit or miss anyway.
Yeah.
That doesn't always work out because you got the knee fixed, that it works out that you're going to be as good as new. That, the doctors will tell you this thing is going to be even better than it was before, but that's not always the case with a running back. So, and they should know that by now that, it's still early coming off that knee for him.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes you 2 seasons to get that thing going. So,
And dealing with a hamstring injury.
oh my goodness.
On this season didn't help the cause.
Just getting off the bus, that guy could get hurt.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We'll see. We will see. Okay, 35-24 is your pick. By the way, that's just hitting the over. The total is 58.5. So you're right there at 59 if my math checks out there.
okay.
You're basically in cahoots here. Now, all week long, because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But all they do is play one-score games. Their largest margin of defeat in the SEC is 9. And that's the only conference game that they've lost by more than one score. Something, I mean, Texas will win, but it'll be closer than any of us want. But then I saw Matt Galatson of Open Gym pick Arkansas to cover. Our guy Matt, Buck, we do the score prediction graphics that we post on social media every week. He is 1-9 picking Texas.
How bad is he?
It's unbelievably bad. You and I are tied for first place, by the way, at 6-4. I don't know if that's worth writing home about, but it ain't bad. He's 1-9.
Take a profit. Yeah.
He is Arkansas covering today. He is Texas 37, Arkansas 30. So literally for the only purpose of him having Arkansas covering, I'm going to pick Texas to cover.
Good job.
I say 34-24. So I'm
There you go.
basically right there with you. Right with 10-point Texas victory today. The Longhorns win and the Longhorns cover. And again, the only reason I'm doing this is because fading Mets.
Yeah, I mean, if it's even more, I won't be surprised if Texas comes out and just stomps this group. This is a 2 wins. They got 2 wins in the season. They play really good football and stay close to people. But Texas needs to play great football today.
I'm with you. It's been a while since they played at home. It had been the 42 days that we had between Sam Houston and Vanderbilt, but it has been 3 weeks since Texas has played a game.
You give me the same effort you came out here and gave the fans with, like you did at Oklahoma and Vandy. You'll win this game going away.
I'm with you on that. All right. It is time for the raffle giveaway. So his intern girlfriend hands the reins over to Bucky. Bucky will do the drawing, and we'll see if Bucky can read the name. It's our guy Chris Phillips from NCC Unfiltered. Hang on real quick, Chris. Put on your headset. We need your score. Oh, he's too drunk. He's had too much to drink. Oh, he's starving. Just give us a score real quick, and then you're done. We gotta get your pick for this game. Who wins today? Chris Phillips from NCC Unfiltered. Good to see you, sir. Give us a score. Who wins? Final score today.
Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Glad we finally found you, man.
Come on, the madhouse.
I'm gonna go 31-24 Texas.
Okay.
I think if Arkansas has been good at anything this year, it is losing and covering.
That's all they
I'm gonna say it. I'm really curious how Texas comes out after getting their teeth kicked in last week. They got their face put in the dirt, and I'm kind of interested to see how Sark's team responds. So I think they will.
He's staying. He's not going anywhere. He's here.
Hey, I had some combos last night that tell me otherwise. Hey, you better get some of your own in check. I'll tell you. I think Sark's staying, but for how long? I don't know. 31-24.
Yes, get out of here. Here. Coupon and 2 beers for you and your boy. On us. We just show up, we give you stuff. We make it easy here. First Phillips, SEC Unfiltered. He's on with us every Tuesday. All right. Have you drawn a name?
It is Kathy Gustafson.
That's not Kathy.
Kathy? Katie?
Yes.
It's Katie.
That's a Katie.
Can't tell. Or is that?
That's me out of that.
Anyway, some people spell Kathy, Katie, Kate, Gustafson. That's a hard one.
There it is.
Gustafson.
Yeah. You got the good part right.
You got the hard part right.
It's to Katie Gustafson, the winner of our free Ariat boots and jeans giveaway. We had a huge turnout today. Man.
There's a lot of folks here.
This was a lot of fun. People are saying he needs reading glasses.
Get the win.
Let's get a dub. Hey, we couldn't eat the dogs. Let's eat the hogs.
Let's eat the hogs this
week. I know we're thinking about turkey with Turkey Day coming up, but let's roast some piggy.
Yeah, this is a great day to eat the hogs because we couldn't eat the dogs.
We could not eat the dogs last week.
No.
One of these days we'll eat. Well, we ate Mississippi State. Do they count? Do they count for anything?
No, they don't count.
All right, that's going to do it for our Texas Sports Unfiltered pre-game show. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. Quick shout out to Paul's Motor Work. Love them. The best car mechanic in the city. Go see them 620 and 2222. Any serious repairs, any basic stuff like oil changes, they do it all. I drive 30 minutes to go see these guys.
Yes, he does.
They're the best. PMWAustin.com, or again, go see them 620 and 2222. Paul's a big Longhorn fan. Great dude. He will take care of you. Shout out to AV Consultations and Covert Bee Cave. Of course, special thanks to Scholz Garten for hosting us for every home game. We'll be back here next Friday.
Next Friday, yeah.
Post game with Zay and Rodney coming up as soon as this one goes final. But that'll do it from us. For Rodney Rodriguez back at home for intern girlfriend. That's what we're calling her here today. For Bucky Godbolt, I am BK Brad Kellner. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all enjoy the game and the rest of the weekend. And we'll go.